right, everybody, welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we are here on our Sunday morning tradition that continues on here in our 14th season. At the end of the NFL season, it'll be 15 years here on the Couch Potato Sports Show as we keep bringing them to you. Who knows when it's going to stop? I don't know. I probably with my walker come to my desk and do the show, when that time comes. But that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. It's week number 4 of the NFL, and right now the Jaguars are in London. They're taking on the Atlanta Falcons. They're up 7-0, and they've got the ball. They are currently driving right now. Give me a second. I'll tell you what yard line they're on. They are on their own 24-yard lines starting this drive. So that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. Let's go ahead and bring them on in. The one, the only. Just sitting there watching this just cracks me up. Especially here. Was that Dexter? I can't remember. Was that Dexter you popped right there or no?
I would never punch out a offshoots Hall of Famer, sir. Never.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay,
no.
All right.
No. That guy was trying to make trouble for when AJ the Future, back when AJ actually had a feature with the network. But
I see.
You know, mommy and daddy got in his ear and told him, "No, you shouldn't go there. I'll give you an
he doesn't listen to too many people, really, does he? Doesn't listen to his dad. He wanted him to join.
He listens to his daddy. He listens to Sir Mo. He listens to those who can put money in his pocket.
Listening to Sir Mo is not the wrong thing to do. I mean,
whatever.
Are you saying that listening to Sir Mo is a detriment to his future?
It's a detriment to the future of the network. That's for damn sure.
Well, it might be for him to, but you're honestly, are you saying that he shouldn't really give too much credence to what Sir Mo says? I just want to get it on record.
Well, if you shut up, I'll tell you. All right. I mean, here's the thing. He is 16, 17 years old. He's impressionable. You know, and I'm pretty sure mommy and daddy, and even Sir Mo, probably promised him a car, probably promised him the world if he just left the network. And sure enough, he left the network. This is some time ago, so I'm quite over it now. But, then he decided to go. By the way, he was CKW champion when he was with the network. Guess who's not the CKW champion right now?
Okay.
Coincidence? I think not. So, look, at the end of the day, he made his own decision. And as he gets older, he's going to realize his consequences. There'll be consequences with every action he takes. Sure enough, he is no longer champion, and now he's climbing that ladder again. And most 17-year-old kids, when they're climbing a ladder, they get squashed on by the adults because they're not ready to come to the adults table yet. So that's on him. He had an opportunity with the network. He blew it. So, anyway, moving forward, we got
to the original question.
Okay.
So I'll repeat it because
please do.
It didn't stay up in the cranium. Are you saying that it is not a good idea for AJ the Future to listen to Sir Mo?
I'm not going to tell you what would work for him, what wouldn't work. I know it works for me.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly, Sir Mo and those in Sword Championship Wrestling, who are getting it. By the way, on Joey's show, on referee Joey's show, he told me flat out he does what the man who pays him tells him to do. So don't think that. I mean, he told that to me on his show. So don't think I'm not sitting here going, oh, so if the promoter's sitting there telling you, hey, when Elijah's got so and so pinned to the mat, can you count a little bit slower for us just so the guy can kick out? Or maybe when the I'm glad he find it funny because he said to me personally, he does whatever the promoter tells him to do. And do you think? And I said, "Are you telling me the referee's never been on the take before, ever?" Well, I can't say that. Okay, well there you go. I rest my case. So Are you done playing with your toys there, Sonny? I mean, I'm trying to get serious about professional wrestling, and you want to sit there and play with your toys. You want to laugh at my
you still haven't asked. You
I'm
still
pissed.
haven't answered.
This early in the morning to come talk football, and then you want to bring in my wrestling shit to me? Come on now.
This is total BS.
Yeah, it's totally BS.
You're right.
I'm having fun. Yeah, I'm having fun.
I'm glad you're having fun, but I'm not now.
Anyway,
I had a bad week, okay? Look, the Cowboys came out last week. They were flat as hell, and they showed.
You were the one. You were right, though. Now, let's see. It's 9:08 a.m. on October 1st. And I, Sonny Clark, am admitting you are right. Now, listen.
But that hurts
obviously, by the picks that did, everybody was on Dallas. No one was taking Arizona. I mean, because that didn't seem like a smart bet. Even if you did take Arizona and they won, it still wasn't a smart bet per se because they haven't shown up. Just because they show up here or there or whatever the case may be. Or, like you said, the Arizona Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys, those two, they battle it out each and every time they play, each and every year. I mean, and you were right. This is a game that gets under the Cowboys' skin, and they did. It's a game where there's a possibility for them to lose, and they did. So, you were right on top of that.
Well, there's one thing that I totally forgot to factor in. Every time Dallas plays a quarterback they're not quite familiar with, that quarterback has almost a career day.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, anybody
for
can
them
really,
at that time.
Yeah. I mean, so look, we went to Arizona, or they went to Arizona. I stayed here. I stayed in Oklahoma and worked and dealt with my own nonsense.
God,
I mean, look, they have no red zone offense. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the ball 5 times to score. They got 1 touchdown out of it. The running game, I like the running back by committee, but they don't have that ground and pound guy that can get the ball into the end zone from the 5-yard line. And they're facing that guy this week, and Zeke Elliott, who used to do that. Now, whether he can do that with the Patriots, I have no idea, but we'll see.
Well, one thing, yeah, they've got a lot of good pieces, I guess is the best way to say it. They got some good pieces. And we're getting a real good look at Dobbs at the quarterback position for them, which is, I always thought that guy could be an NFL quarterback if he got the chance. There are a few that if you go back in the history of guys that didn't really get the chance or at the opportunity, and then they end up being career quarterbacks. Now, granted, you can't, when these rookies come in, they get, about half a year, maybe 3/4 of the year to figure out whether or not they're going to be the guy. Dobbs was not one of those guys. He didn't get that opportunity in order for them to, in order for him to be a starter on an NFL squad. Now, granted, when you're one of those guys, the top guys, you're on a crappy team, so the expectations can't be there. But when you're on another team that is, you're picked up later, like Dobbs was picked up later because of the order and they weren't so high. And when they grabbed them up, that means they had a solidified starter. They just needed a backup, and the opportunities aren't there. So this is a good opportunity for Dobbs to get some film and show what he can actually do. He's not going to be an Arizona Cardinal next year, because they got what's-his-nose probably going to come back, and they're going to have to eat one more year of that contract.
Why not keep Dobbs as an insurance guy? Just
demand will be out there for him if he plays like he did. The demand will be out there, and the Arizona Cardinals are going to let him go because of how much they're going to end up paying him and the expectations of the new contract.
But isn't he still under contract for next year?
Well, no, he signed a 1-year deal in Arizona, okay. So he's not going to be there for very long. So, okay. But that game for the Arizona Cardinals is or the Dallas Cowboys is atypical of the Dallas Cowboys, because when you look at them, they always play down to their competition, and then they're in a dog fat. a dogfight, and that's what ended up happening.
Or
Them going
dogfight.
out blowing out football teams does not happen very now. Granted, it happened a little bit earlier, but the norm is the Dallas Cowboys are in a dogfight, even against the team that is not up to where they are in the talent level. And also, the Dallas Cowboys losing that football game had nothing to do with the fact that they didn't have Diggs in the lineup. They got their asses kicked. And
Mhm.
there's no other way to really put that except you went in and you dropped the ball and you ended up getting the loss. Now, interestingly enough, Podfather, how do you think that trip from Arizona back to Dallas, even though it's an hour and 10-minute flight, I bet you it was real quiet on that airplane.
I hope it was uncomfortable for all of them
I hope
because
so.
with the exception of the kicker, everybody did not play up to their part,
Yep.
and that's not a good. And that's offense, defense, and mostly special teams also. And by the way, it was good to see Michael Gallup finally have a game. Because we actually called him out on our other show last week about that, and he had put up
Yes.
93 yards. My problem with the Cowboys receiving core is that they don't have a true number one. I think CeeDee Lamb is a good number two. I think he's a
Right.
solid number two. I think Michael Gallup is a solid number three. I think, Tolbert and whoever else is the receivers are nice number threes. But so if you're looking for a number one receiver, that'd be your tight end right now. Well,
Yes.
I don't trust their tight ends, and so much that there was even talk that Jerry might want to trade for Kyle Pitts out of Atlanta.
I heard about that, and that's not going to happen. Atlanta is not going to
No.
let their number one draft pick go. And by the way, Kyle Pitts being the number one, and he's in action right now as you speak.
But that got me thinking because I threw the question out there last week to my showmate on the Cowboy show that we do. What if you had to trade this is from last week. If you had to trade Michael Gallup, what is he worth to another team?
Well, think about it. All you got to do is think about that.
Right.
We'll just go back to a couple of trades ago or earlier this year and looking at who went where and what they got for him and realize where Michael Gallup is based upon that and what they were getting. You have to. The best they're going to get from Michael Gallup is a 5th or 6th round draft pick at best.
But you know what, though? I can almost see someone say, look, we'll take Gallup, but like you said, either a lower draft choice or someone, but they need defense right now. That's the problem.
God, yeah.
Dallas needs a solid middle. They don't have because once you get past the first level, Leighton Vander Esch, who has spared everybody. He is the Sean Bradley of the NFL right now for me.
What?
Oh yeah, because
was that an insult to Sean Bradley?
Well, Sean Bradley can tackle better now than he could back when he played basketball. He's in a wheelchair. But the thing is that once you pass that first level, that's 7 to 8 yards of that middle part that you're giving up.
I agree
Right away, and that's where Vander Esch is supposed to reside at. Now, do I think they should probably be better off to put, say, Micah Parsons in the middle and have him run that because he's quick.
He's quick. That's Vander Esch's problem. He's not a speed guy.
But and like you said, okay, well the game wasn't lost because Diggs wasn't there.
Right.
But it wasn't won because Bland was on the outside either because they were giving up 10-yard here, 10-yard there.
Yes.
They gave up I was looking at the stats this past week. They gave up a 60-yarder to a 50-yard to a 40-yard to a couple 20-yarders. That kills you. That kills whatever momentum you have in the game. So, and they had no momentum
I like
at all.
Vander Esch. I like Vander Esch. Matter of fact.
Why? Because it had a silly board on the back of his head?
No. There are 3 guys. I hate the Dallas Cowboys, but there are 3 guys on that football team I like. Vander Esch is one. Dak I like. I'm going to tell you what I think about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott needs to be on a different football team. Why? Not because he's a bad quarterback. He's got bad coaching. He's had bad coaching for the last 5 years. And say whatever you want about Mike McCarthy calling the plays or whatever the case may be. Well, he hadn't called the plays for the last 3 years in Dallas. So where's he at? So I think Dak would be on. Now, I'm not saying he'd be a barn burner or anything else. I just say he'd be a better quarterback for a different football team someplace else, and maybe be able to develop the skills that would make him a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. And right now he's not there. And I'm telling you, it's coaching.
You're probably right about the coaching part. The thing is, I look at Dak as a bus driver. Okay, he
right
is,
now.
I mean, but the thing was, maybe that's all he really is. At the end of the day, maybe that's all he really truly is. Because I know we're real big. We're the Dallas Cowboys. Our team is defined by our quarterback. Let's face it, we've had the history of that. Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman, Tony Romo, guys like that who have either led them to the promised land or got them close.
What about your guy, number 11?
Number 11 got, once again, he's kind of that Romo.
Hey, that guy won football games. I got won football games. The fact that he didn't get the Super Bowl, thing that he should have got as a starting quarterback.
He had three
that one hurts my feelings. Danny White.
Yeah, he had 3 opportunities. He got knocked out on one of them. So I mean, it happens. But the thing is, though, is that with Dak, the fact that you're supposedly have a solid defense, your Doomsday 3 or whatever the hell you want to call them, that is the face of your franchise right now. Mm-hmm. That's a good place for Dak, because Dak is where when it's Dak's team, he's the poster boy of the team. Then you see the mistakes. Then you see the inconsistencies. And it's real easy to pick. And once again, it's a lot easier to pick on Dak Prescott for throwing 3 interceptions than it is Josh Allen from the Bills, because the Bills ain't a sexy team to sit there and mess with on a national scale. So let's pick on the quarterback. And maybe he can't deal with that. Let's face it, he's got a lot of instability in his life. So you want to sit there and throw stuff at him and say, you want to be the Stephen A. Smith of the world and go, you are not that great of a quarterback because I say you're not a great quarterback. Well, okay, maybe. But can he drive the bus? If he had a better running core, yeah, maybe. If he had a number 1 receiver, maybe. But guess what he doesn't have? A solid running core or a number 1 receiver. And
hold on. I think that you're downgrading the running game, because we still got a running back right now trying to get back to form after injury.
Okay, but here's the thing. Right now, as we speak,
okay,
inside the red zone, where your running back should be your go-to guy, he should be able to punch it in from 3 yards out. Why is he not doing it?
Well, here's my theory on that, and go back into the archives. You'll hear me say it all. It was Zeke Elliott from 10 yards in, and between the 20s, that's where you got, what's his name, Pollard. That's where you need Tony Pollard to come in and play, and that's what's missing. If they could be able, by the way, that was successful for them. But the problem is they were paying Zeke too much money, and they had to get rid of that idea. And Zeke wanted a certain amount of money. Now he's in New England, but that is where they were successful in the running game, right? As far as that's concerned.
Don't you find it funny? In order to play for the Patriots, he had to get a haircut.
Do I find it funny?
Yeah, because with the Cowboys, his hair was like all over the place, coming through his helmet and everything else. He goes up there where it's cold as hell, by the way, a place where you probably need your hair, and he's chopped it all off. I'm like, hey,
well, I'm just telling you that's the Bill Belichick effect, baby.
That's kind of like, hey, look, I'm a Major League Baseball player. I mean, I've got the long ass beard, I've got the long hair in the back. I'm getting ready to go to the Yankees, and they say, cut that shit off.
Yes,
but
as one philosopher, Crash Davis, stated, he says when you start winning in the show, you can be colorful. Right. If you're not winning in the show, or you're the guy that hits 100 home run, or 40, 50, 100 home runs, then you can be colorful.
Speaking
And he
of
was
that,
talking about the fungus on his shower
Right,
shoes
right.
when he said that.
yeah.
So.
Speaking of which, I was at work last night and we were watching the Colorado USC game, which
Wasn't that a great game last night? I'm telling you right now, I loved every minute of it.
I mean, look, I knew Colorado was not going to win that game, but to see the fight in those kids and see how they came back. Now, granted, it might be considered garbage time in a lot of NFL
It's
cases.
irrelevant. How many
It is.
games where garbage time got him back into
But-
the game in the last couple of seconds?
But here's the thing, though. I remember I was talking to a coworker of mine, and I was like, I asked if he's ever seen Bull Durham. He's like, no, I never saw it. I'm like, there's a line there where I can't remember what the exact record was, but the coach says, Larry, what's our record? 12-24. 12-24.
Well,
How do we win 12? It's a miracle. It's a miracle.
it's a miracle. I'm telling you right now, that is one, that and Shawshank Redemption, and Tim Robbins happens to be in both of them. Not because I like Tim Robbins, it's just a great role for him. That's one. Bull Durham, Shawshank Redemption. And no matter how many times I've watched that movie or Bull Durham, I'll sit there and I'll watch the whole thing and just sit there and repeat the line. One of my favorite ones is the rose goes in the front, pal.
Yeah. It's funny because like, when it comes to baseball, I know we're talking football, not here we're talking baseball.
Sure.
But, when it comes to baseball,
hey, congratulations to the Rangers in the playoffs, right?
They finally, after so long, they finally finished it.
Maybe it's the new stadium. Hell, maybe it's the new digs.
Well, it's the first time they've gone to the playoffs, and they've had the same for 3 years. So good luck with that. But
Has it been 3? Yeah, but there were COVID years. You can't count those. That's not fair. That's not fair. This is really the second year that they were able to do it.
First of all, they played baseball with a stagnant crowd during the COVID years. Have you ever been to a baseball game? There's stagnant crowds all season long until you get to the playoffs. So it is what it is. So it's really no different than what it was with COVID. I guess I'll take your word for that. At the end of the day, last year they had no pitching. This year they started having pitching, but then the hitting got picked up. It fell apart for a little bit there towards the month of August, but now it's back up again. So we'll see. Once again, now every game matters, every game counts. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, and that'll be the thing for them.
But
challenge for them.
But you're talking baseball movies, yeah. Bull Durham's up there in my top 5.
Bull Durham is the best sports movie that was ever made.
Okay, well that's your opinion. But I mean, for me personally, I like the Replacements better for football, but that's just me.
Now that was more of a comedy, though, in reality.
So is Bull Durham,
huh? Nah, yes and no. Now, one thing about Bull Durham is, and I know it's part of the movie, and I know it was a big part. I could have done without the Susan Sarandon thing. I like I thought she was although great that was the big part of the movie.
Yeah, I thought she was great. But I mean, but movies like Major League, the first one,
Major League, the first one, yeah,
yeah. But honestly, go watch the third one. The third one's fun. It's not great, but it's fun.
Yeah, if you just want to laugh at something stupid like the Naked Gun, then that's something.
But between that, The Natural, of course, has got its own place because the mystical part of that movie, or whatever. But
Robert Redford as a starting pitcher just
he wasn't a starting pitcher. He was a hitter.
I mean, he was a reliever. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
just like
he's not a reliever, sir. He's a hitter. He's an outfielder. He started off as a pitcher, but then he got shot. Then he became.
By the way, the one that Kevin Costner did as he was the pitcher, I forget the name of the movie.
For the Love of the Game.
I hated it.
For the love of the game. Yeah, that was awful. But you know what though?
Although Tin Cup cracked me up.
Tin Cup was great. Tin Cup was great. But Field of Dreams does not hold up well for me. I don't know why.
Which one?
Field of Dreams does not hold up very well for me.
I didn't like the concept of the movie. I know I'm in the minority. I just didn't like the concept of the movie.
I mean, when baseball capitalized on it a couple of years ago and they went to the actual baseball park out there.
A friend of mine was at that game.
I thought that was cool. But at the same time,
I thought that was cool.
But you're playing upon a movie that no one's really ever seen in the last 30 years, so why not see it again? It'd be kind of cool. But I didn't go back to rewatch it. Although I love everybody who's in the movie. I love James Earl Jones. I love.
Oh yeah, the cast was magnificent.
And I
mean, I just didn't like the movie.
I mean, the late great Ray Liotta, whose last movie is Cocaine Bear. Yeah, if you wanted to redo on that one, I mean, so.
By the way, I haven't seen it. It's on HBO. And I
It's
can
on
watch it for
Peacock
free.
too.
I'd rather watch reality TV. There's just something
Okay,
that tells me I don't want to be
as an offshoots TV thing, our group decided to all sit down and watch Cocaine Bear and offer our
together.
opinion. Yeah, no, it wasn't together. It was all separately, and we all came on the show and talked about it.
Got it. Okay.
And we have our boy Billy. He's like saying it's the best movie since two boys and or two girls in a cup. My Michael said, "Dude, those are 2 hours I can't get back in my life." And I was
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's what I'm afraid of.
and I'm like, and I'm not sure if Tommy saw it or not, but then I don't think Omega saw it either. But it was one of those things where I'm sitting there going, okay, I know this is going to end eventually, so I'll just hang with it. I mean, I saw a movie on
As much
Paramount.
as that coke, as much as that the scene that I saw because of the trailer, as much cocaine that bear did, and that would have done that bear in. I'm sorry, I don't care how big that bear was.
Well, in real life it did. So
Huh?
in real
Yeah.
life it did.
There
So
you go.
yeah, but
All right, now let's back this up. It's the NFL. It's week number 4. We got a game going on right now. And we're just, by the way, I know who you're on because I saw the group picks. So everybody in the group is on the Arizona Cardinals or the Jacksonville Jaguars, except one person who's on Atlanta. And I understand why they were doing that as well, because right now Jacksonville, this right here is their game. It's in London. They've been doing this 2 times a year, almost every year. And they're okay with going over to London, and that's mainly because they get benefits for doing that. So this is not really, even though they're the quote unquote visiting team, it's a home game for the Arizona or for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got the Arizona Cardinals on the mind here today. But this one right here, interesting enough, the Jacksonville Jaguars have not been playing well. We were just kind of briefly talking about it on air. Right now, where do you think about Trevor Lawrence? And I kind of let you know where Trevor Lawrence is, and I'll get that. What do you think about Trevor Lawrence, where he is in his development so far this season?
I mean, he's on par with where he needs to be. I think he put those solid people around him. He'll be a better player.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big momentum guy. Once that momentum starts swinging his way, he knows how to fashion it to himself and do what he has to do.
Yeah.
But once momentum is out of his way, which he never had to deal with in college, so
Right.
when he this is the first time he's dealt with adversity coming in playing football that we know of, that has really impacted him one way or the other. And when you rock a young player like him, with failure in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, how does he climb out of that? Look at David Carr, who got drafted by the Texans back in the day, right? He was successful leading up to his time with Houston. Got to Houston, became a failure. Although he won his first ever game, and it was against the Cowboys home opening night.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
So clearly in his mind, he's like, this is going to be easy. It's going to be a cakewalk. Turns out it was the 5-11 Cowboys season or whatever it was. So it wasn't good. But as long as you put impactful players around him, he'll be successful. You start taking those pieces away from him, and he's running for his life. Injuries are going to happen. Wear and tear is going to build up, and next thing you know, Jacksonville's going to be sitting there going, do we need to draft ourselves another quarterback here in about 3 years, because he ain't gonna hold up.
Yeah. And the bad thing about Jacksonville, think about Jacksonville right now, as far as on 3rd and 4th down, they're number 31 in successful rates. And in other words, getting the first down, they're ranked 28th in the NFL. Success on the drop back passes on 3rd and 4th down, they're 28th again. Okay. Their rushing success on 3rd or 4th down, they're number 27. And there go the Jacksonville Jaguars again. They're up. They get the defensive pick 6. So just to give you an update, it came across my screen. They're up 16-0 pending the extra point. But here's the situation. Today, even with those numbers, thinking about what's going on, Atlanta right now ranks 4th in both yards allowed through the air per game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as well as a completion percentage, 58%. So they definitely, as that being they, Atlanta, are giving up a lot. So in this was the reason why I picked it, even though we just told you their success on 3rd and 4th down is horrible, but going up against a bad football team on the defensive side of the ball, giving up that kind of stuff, that is the reason. I'm telling you right now, if this game was here in the States, in Atlanta, I pick Atlanta. But also, this is their game. I mean, 4 or 5 times a year, at least 2 times a year, they're going over to London.
Well, yeah, and we spoke of it earlier. The momentum thing, right? Atlanta's got some momentum right now, and I know you're not high on their quarterback because he's a rookie. He's in the growing phases, and
he's getting better week to week.
Yeah. I mean, I think you kind of turned the page on him a little bit, and not a lot, but definitely a little bit. And once again, that's what this is. I mean,
that's what rookies do.
We're also only now into week 4.
Yes.
We still have quite a bit of season to go, and the wear and tear on you in September is far different than it is in December. And
yep.
And where these guys end up there towards, let's say, around Thanksgiving. By then, we have a good idea of what we're dealing with. But by around Thanksgiving time, even if you are, I don't know what you'd be 1-8 at that point. Let's say you're 1-8 at that point, but then all of a sudden you fire off and you start winning 8 in a row from there. You're a playoff team.
Steelers did it.
Yeah,
the Steelers did the same damn thing, and there's another team I'll remember who it is. But go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, so it's like it's all about that 4th quarter of the game, the season, everything, right? And at this point, once you get to the halfway point of the season, what we've seen now may not be, and aren't even there yet. What we've seen may kind of like, I hate to say this because football is such a week-to-week thing. We watched week 1, right? All of us watched it. Cowboys were 40-0 against the hapless Giants. Okay, they're not so hapless nowadays, by the way, but they were hapless week 1. So week 2 came. They destroyed the Jets. We're thinking we're riding high, right? We're this team's got the momentum, everything else. Then came the Cardinals, and everything went away. So now we're like, well, what are we? Because we struggle more with loss than we do with victory, right?
Absolutely.
So we're sitting there going, well, shit, our middle of our defense sucks. Our red zone can't get in the end zone. I mean, we got a great kicker. Although he missed his first ever extra point in the season, but he's made up ever since, and now he's consistent. So I was like, where are we on this entire thing with the Cowboys? And nobody knows because they didn't do what they should have done last week. That was get after the quarterback and keep him on his toes, get in his face, make him panic, and make him throw interceptions. They didn't do that. Because defense is going to win games for the Cowboys. They're going to be the offense.
Absolutely.
So, and which, by the way,
it's going to be a big. It's going to be a big part of their game, even with Diggs out of the lineup.
Which, by the way, you can win a Super Bowl that way. Look at the Ravens. But that was then. This is now, and this is now a Madden League football. You're putting 70 points up against the team, and you're not putting the brakes on at all. You got the guy, and you got your third string quarterback coming in there throwing touchdown passes. So it is what it is, and the bad thing about all this is going to be by the time we get to week 8, week 9, we're all going to sit there and go, well, is it going to be the Niners this year? Is it going to be? Can't think of a team in the AFC that's actually
the Bills.
Yeah, it won't be the Bills. Chiefs. No, it won't be will be Miami
or Miami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Niners, Miami. That was Super Bowl 19 right there.
Yep.
So we can have a repeat, and Miami hadn't been since. So I always find it funny how like I think the Bengals had this where they get back to their second Super Bowl and they got to play the same team they lost to the first time they win.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and then think about the fact that those teams that go for their first and lose their first Super Bowl, they have a hard time getting back there again.
Yeah.
So so a lot of things that are in play as far as that. By the way, Jaguars just got an interception. Could have ran it back for a pick six, but they fumbled it. They were able to go ahead and recover. They're at the 20-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons and about ready to score again, which is good. It's always good to see my Jaguars play. They're playing a lot better today than they played last week. They were just a pile. It was just so bad, you know. And I was sitting there watching the game, you know, when he came on the red zone. And I'm sitting here thinking, you know,
this is total BS.
And I'm just watching the game, and it was just horrible. Now they look like Super Bowl contenders, but it is the Atlanta Falcons. Again, everybody was on Jacksonville on this game except one, and that was the Impact, Jeremy York. And now the Jaguars are at the 7-yard line trying to get in. Can you
picture the jet lag those players got to go through?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Jacksonville got into London, Tuesday night.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Wednesday night. So they were, you know, in pretty good shape. I don't know what Atlanta did. I just keep track of where the Jaguars are used to this. And this is, you know, the simple fact of the matter, this is the NFL. They're not afraid to spend money, so they don't have to get in there, fly in, and just fly out. You know, they stay for a couple of days. They rent facilities and do what they got to do. At least Jacksonville does. I'm not necessarily sure what other teams necessarily do or when they get there, but it's definitely a Jaguar, you know, understanding on
is it Jaguars or Jaguars?
It could be whatever you decide that you want to say during that time. If you want to emphasis, you can say Jaguars. Or if you just want to say they suck and Jaguars suck, you know, it just all depends.
Okay. I'm gonna try it out for a second.
Try it out one day. See where it goes. So that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. We're going to be looking at them all, and we're talking about the game that's going on. Jaguars go ahead and get that score. So they're in the end zone. They're looking at to make it 18-0 with the extra point. So they're looking pretty good right now. Right now, Atlanta not looking all that great, and that's probably a jet lag thing going on more so than anything. Because, again, I'd probably be on a different side of it if they were playing in Atlanta. So that's going to lead us into the next game that we're going to be covering. And interestingly enough, Trey, you know, we get a team that scores 70 last week, going up, you know, that being the Miami Dolphins, who are 3-0, playing Buffalo. This was one game. There are 3 games where I was looking at them and I wonder what can happen. And I hate the fact because, you know, as old Randy Galloway here in the Dallas area says, watch the damn games instead of watch the stats. I mean, because you really have an idea of what kind of football. The problem is when you watch Miami and you watch the damn game and you watch they match up. I mean, but again, that's what happens when you drop a 70 burger on a football team. You know, you get the stats and everything. But here's the thing, and I said it last year, and people laughed at me. Now, people are going, well, maybe Sonny was right. Tua last year before he got hurt.
We'll never say that, but go ahead.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Yeah. So, that being said, last year I was telling people before he got hurt, I'm not saying he was going to win the MVP, but you had to talk about him as far as the MVP because the numbers were there. They were winning football games. He was playing out of his mind before he got hurt. All right, so the fact that Tua is doing what he is doing right now, although I hated the way he gained the starting lineup against my guy, Ryan Fitzpatrick, love him. But just kind of threw him off to the side when they were still in playoff contention, really ticked me off. That's why I wasn't a great big fan of Tua. as far as how he got the job. But how he's been playing outside the first year as the starter, his second year, he was being. I thought he should have been in the talks of the MVP. Now, the weapons are there. He's got 1, 2, 3 punch on throwing the football. He's got a running game. Everything looks. The defense actually looks very solid when you look at the Dolphins in the past few years. The offense was looking good, but the defense. But this year we're getting a kind of idea of what they could be as long as Tua doesn't get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But going up against the Buffalo Bills, that's a totally different thing. I mean, you're talking about the defense on that football team is really good. And then you get to the quarterback position, what everybody talks about. And you've actually been kind of one that has been doing that, looking at Josh Allen, and you're scratching your head going, what's going on with Josh Allen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, once again, the league's got film on him. They're seeing his tendencies. A lot of them are exposing it.
Hype.
Yeah, hype. Yeah, I mean, but there's hype in everybody, though, right?
Really?
You think there wasn't hype in Tom Brady? It worked. I mean, because
hold on. Tom Brady though deserved the hype because
right. But the thing is though is that every once in a while you come across a team that can shut him down. It was rare, but you found those teams that could do it, right? So
he's the only player in NFL history that has won a game against every single football team in the NFL.
Right. But but the thing is,
including his own Patriots.
Right, but he wasn't perfect. I mean, he was close, but he wasn't perfect. So there's hype around every player in the league that comes to your town, and all of a sudden, you have to prepare for this guy. Josh Allen, I think, just became one of those players where now I might be proven wrong, and let's face it, I'm not afraid of it.
Maybe.
But I want to see what he does in November, December now, because right now in the earlier stages, people, I mean, let's face it, a lot of these players can get a lot of preseason reps. A lot of these players did not get that time. Now we're week 4. We're well into the season, and he hasn't really impressed me all that much. Now, last week he was impressive. I ain't going to lie. When I was saying he wasn't going to be impressive, he impressed me.
Right.
So like him and the quarterback for San Diego, and I forget what his name is. But, both guys, both guys are quarterbacks from center going, yeah, I don't only think they're going to do it. Then all of a sudden they blow it out the next week. Well, okay, fine. They're the greatest of all time. Then they suck. So it's kind of like you can't win for losing with them at all.
I get it.
But with Tua, going back to Tua though, and once talk about hype, a lot of hype coming out of college with that kid. A lot of things,
no question.
And then he got lit up the first year, but then he found a rhythm, which none of us saw ever happening with him. He found his rhythm. Now, his rhythm cost him an injury last year because he got too comfortable. But that's any player. So, because injuries happen no matter what. No matter how much you're getting paid, injuries are going to happen regardless.
Absolutely.
So, and it's like Big Mel's like Sonny sit there and go, $97 million for what? Now he's going to sit on the couch and do nothing. I got you. That's what you do. We know.
That's exactly what I do. That's my
exactly.
job.
What a shithead. But anyway, I do think he's we haven't seen the Miami Dolphins look good at all. Even back when Jimmy Johnson was coaching, like there was hype with Jimmy Johnson coming to the Dolphins back in the day because he had done so much for the Cowboys, and then they realized, well, him and Marino don't really click, and he's got to find another quarterback, and does he have enough time to do that? And he's Jimmy; he's not going to last more than 5 years. So what's
that was actually kind of true.
well, Jimmy don't like staying in places all that too long. So, which is amazing that he got into the Hall of Fame because of that, though. But because he was part of the rebuild of the Cowboys, I get it. Kudos to Tua. The smart thing and I didn't know what to think much about the coach of the Dolphins, but he's found a way to get those players plugged in.
He's one of those analytical nerds with the glasses and everything, and the guy hasn't taken snap one in any kind of football. But here's this guy, doing what he's doing now. Granted, he does have a pretty good, pretty good lineup with him, you know,
He's got
to be able to help him do that.
He's got a really high sports IQ, which is nice to have. And the analytical part, once he's playing Moneyball football.
Absolutely.
But it's working. Now, it's working against the Broncos.
Well, there was a lot of stories behind that in reality, as far as that's concerned. But yes, you can talk about you know, the history. You can talk about some of the things that happened, but knowingly stopping and not scoring more than 70 points. By the way, everybody is asking when was the last time someone scored 70. Well, it was back in 1966 is when it was scored, but it was before the NFL went to where the format they're at now. They had the NFL and the National Football League and
the AFL
the AFL. Yeah, and then they merged. So it was the year before the merge. So it didn't happen in the Super Bowl era.
Speaking of which, what do you think about I know this is off topic, but what do you think about the merge between the XFL and the USFL?
What do I think of it?
I mean, smart as far as saving money, because both are right now losing. They're losing promotions as far as money right now, but as far as a spring ball, spread the teams out further than what you had, combine your resources.
I'm going to be honest. I could give a rat's fat ass about either one of them. I mean, you're merging with you're. I'm actually surprised. I don't know the attendance that was at the XFL, but I know how many people were in the seats in the USFL, and it was nothing. I mean, there were hardly anybody in the damn stands, and now they're merging. I don't know how a merger helps this league. Spring ball doesn't work for a lot of reasons. Okay,
right.
Outside of the fact that they're just a hard game to watch. Now, that being said, when you as a league cannot compete with college football, it's kind of hard to take it seriously.
That's not fair because people like obviously not you, but there's people out there that have certain allegiances to college, right? You go on Facebook, they got their Boomer Sooners, they got their Aggie shit, they got all that. I got a half sister out in North Carolina, big Georgia Bulldog fan, you know, and I mean loving this year right now, loving that, and look what Colorado's done. Colorado has picked up fans this year.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot. I mean, people may not like Dion, but they love what he's saying. So,
well, no, they tune in to find out what stupid thing he's going to say next.
But you know what though? Okay,
but still, it gets eyes on the prize.
But here's the thing though. What has he said that he's been wrong about?
No, it's him. It's not. I've always said
it's stupid.
It's the way he delivers it. Is he's an arrogant prick? Okay, let's just be honest. That's it. Doesn't even matter. Listen. Top defensive player of all time. Listen, he's there. I'm giving him that respect. I don't like him because he's an arrogant jerk. I always kind of like guys that knows they're that good. Jerry Rice doesn't have to say how great he is because guess what? Jerry Rice is great. He doesn't need hype because Jerry Rice is great. Same thing with Tom Brady. I mean, you look at it's more about attitude, and that's the reason why. And it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if you're an athlete or just a regular guy. I hang out with you, okay? So that's half my problem. But I'm not hanging around, outside of what we do. Arrogant jerks. I don't need them. I don't need them and want them in my life. I don't need that as motivation. But
here's the thing.
I'm already great. I don't need that motivation.
But here's the thing, though. You're not an 18-year-old kid getting ready to
I know. They're so influential.
No. Well, you know what?
I hate young people. I really
Yeah,
do.
but here's the thing: you were that way too.
Really helps my viewership.
Right.
You know, I hate young
It
people.
really does now, but I mean, you have 18-year-old kids coming to the next phase of their life.
Impressionable.
Yeah, and the thing is, they need someone that they can truly get behind. Now, they're in the world of college football, where coaches are interchangeable. They can sign 1 minute and be gone the next.
True.
And then now you get a guy who doesn't want for nothing except to see his kids do good, but also is sitting there taking on your kid. You know, he's bringing on your kid, making that his own kid, and say, look, we're here to do what's. I mean, okay, I've heard him say this. Now, this is where I get fully on board with Deion Sanders because, yes, as a player, he showed off a lot and he did a lot. He's a Cowboy. It drove me crazy. Because I wasn't a big T.O. fan. I love Michael Irvin because Michael Irvin is Michael Irvin. But I mean,
all he did is just stab someone with a pair of scissors.
Don't worry about that. But
I'm just saying.
Don't worry about that. That guy had it coming. You know, listen. See, you don't spit out your coffee now. But
shouldn't have taken that last sip.
Lord! Look, when he tells his players, guys, we are the example of this school. So when you go to class, you pull your pants up. When you go to class, you dress professionally.
Oh, yeah, that's what he says, right? Is that what he says?
I heard him say this on ESPN. Okay. So says when you go to class, you sit in the front of the class. I'll go check. I'll go walk class to class to make sure you're in the front row because you have to get that education. You have to do this. Now, this will be here. The football. I mean, you got Travis Hunter, who's injured right now, wants to come back. Calls Deion, says, "Dude, I'm back next week." And Deion's like, "No, you ain't ready. You hurt. Get healthy. Then we'll bring you back." This is not about today. This is about down the road. So he said a lot now. He says a lot on TV, but he's backing it up. Last night was a great example of a team that didn't quit. Okay, right. When they had every reason to quit, they didn't quit. So, like the man, hate the man, whatever you want to do. The fact is, he's about getting the results that he wants to get. Okay, Jacksonville score you. But sir, put it down. I can smell the armpit from here. But anyway, look. Getting back to the NFL though, because that's what we're here to talk about. Tua, I think once he has that momentum that he needs, he's going to be he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks that this league's ever had. The injury thing is going to plague him though. The injury thing will always plague him, and also the fact that they're still Miami. They're still interchangeable parts that come in and out of that team all the time. Then again, you live in Miami. Who the hell doesn't live in Miami? So,
well, hold on. Miami is just one of these teams that are very entertaining. Outside of the fact they got Tua and Tyreek Hill, even before that, they were winning games they had no business winning at home. Okay, right. An example was 3 years ago when maybe it was 4 now, when Tom Brady and the Patriots were going to go down there and they were going to get squashed. I mean, based upon the history and what was going on, they were going to get squashed. And I was the only one that believed in them because when they get a home, they do some things. Now, just to trail back a little bit on what you were saying about Deion Sanders.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll get back into it. Trail back a little bit on it. I wouldn't want my child to play for Deion Sanders. There's just no way, because I'd be afraid he'd grow up just like him, and that would be my problem. Outside of that, so I just wanted to get that last oomph on that. I don't want my kid to be influenced by a Deion Sanders. I don't care if they win or have drive to play in the last part of a game. I don't care. I don't want my son to be Deion Sanders. Now, in Miami's case, this is, say whatever you want. These are 2 good defenses. Okay. Really, the only, though, when I was looking at it, and the only team that played really good defenses were Miami. Now you got the fact that Miami can throw the ball, and let's just say they can't, let's just say that the Buffalo Bills stop them. How many points, though, are they still going to? They're going to score. How many are they going to score? Are they going to score up near the 30 points a game that they've been averaging I throw the 70 out there. Let's just say
It
that's 30 points.
it all comes
But
down. It all comes down to Miami's defense. Do they shut down Josh Allen?
absolutely.
If they shut down Josh Allen, they're going to run with this thing, no problem. This is more about what do the Bills have to do to win than it is about what Miami has to do to not lose.
Well,
I think.
yes and no. Yes and no, because I'm going to tell you what Buffalo has to do in order for them to win. There's one part. And you can take a look at every aspect of the game. There's one place where Buffalo is giving it up, and that's the running game. So what does Miami have for the running game? So you got to ask yourself the question, will they be able to do what they do, rushing the football? So, whether it's scoring or doing what they do, running the football, well, right now in the NFL, the Miami Dolphins are first in rushing the football, 188 yards a game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of that, Buffalo gives up 149. And so that's a big number to give up defensively against the run. But at the same time, though, that's good enough for 7th in the NFL here in week number 4. Later on down the road, that number drops.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's around 100 yards. It's about 50 yards too much right now. And if Miami runs and does what they do, it's one of those things. But the difference between this game and looking at the stats and knowing that is where each team is in their progression to get to the playoffs and do well in the playoffs. And right now, Buffalo, as far as their progression from year to year to year, they should be theoretically in the AFC Championship game. Where's Miami? Well, Miami wants to be there, but they haven't been there yet. They make the playoffs and then they get booted and stuff. So this was the toughest game this week for me to pick.
Oh yeah, most definitely, because I looked at the whole thing going, well, they're playing in Buffalo, right?
They're playing in Buffalo, and that's
so
another thing. It's just, my gosh. But here's one of the things. It's hard to go up against a football team that rushes against everybody, which is first in the NFL rushing the football. Okay, but here's the thing. Right now, Buffalo, where they are, is giving up the yards. As far as, and by the way, I looked at the wrong line. Buffalo's given up 110 yards again. So that being said, that's 14th in the NFL. So, but if you look on the other side, as far as Buffalo, they're 7th in rushing, but Miami, if they don't stop the run, which they haven't been able to, they're 24th in the NFL. This game is going to be won by the running game. I think Tua does what he does. I think Josh Allen throws I think both of them are going to throw for 3 touchdowns. This is all going to be on the line. The game is going to be won on the defense and the offensive line. Whoever gets that one is going to win this football game. So depending on who you think has the best offensive line is where it is. And as much as I want to take Miami, I think this is a game that Miami should be able to win. The problem is that I don't think I trust the fact that they should be able to win that game. Not because everybody's talking, well, they scored 70, they're going to have a downfall. No, that doesn't have anything to do with it, in my eye. Okay? I think it's more on the fact is, where this football team and where Buffalo is, they don't have to worry about a downfall. They won last week. They won the traditional way. Miami blows out a football team. How are they going to react to it? I'm going to take a little bit. I'm going to go with the odds because Vegas says that Buffalo is going to win this game. Okay. Then I'm going to kind of think about it. Can you expect a letdown after 70 points? I think you can. Not much. I mean, but when it comes down to the vital part of the time of the game, I think I want to go with, what I think I've seen for the last 3 years in Buffalo being at home. I'm just going to take the home team. This one's a tough one to pick. Now, would it shock me that the Dolphins win this game? Not at all. But I think as far as my pick is concerned, I think I'm going to take the home. Where are you at as far as your pick is concerned?
I picked the Dolphins in our pick'em league. It's like 78% is picking the Dolphins.
Right. I wonder how much of that the 70 influenced that 70%.
But once again, this is also going. here's a team that hadn't stopped scoring since last week.
I give you that.
And at the end of the day, this is going to come down to who's got the most stops defensively.
Absolutely.
And,
all about stops. Getting off the field on third down.
Right. And Josh Allen is somewhat proven to be mortal. And right now, Tua is as of right now, Tua is showing that he's got superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? It's just it's ride the momentum type thing, right? Let's ride the momentum until. And right now, the Bills have got the Dolphins got the hot hand, and I'm just gonna flow. I'm gonna go Dolphins with this one. I was leery about this too because I'm just looking at it and I'm like, there's no way that green bar is 78%. That one, the other one is 42. That doesn't even make sense.
Right.
It's not even 100%. I mean, it's so out of whack. So because I mean, if you look at it, I don't know, I can't really tell here, but if you look at it, it's almost like it's dead even. And you pretty much might have a dead even match. Don't you wish the NFL can flex this game out to a nighttime game? This would be a perfect Monday night game.
I agree with you because this is the hot game of the week in reality. There are 3 good games where I had to really sit and think about it. The other ones I just said, this is the guy I'm going. But interestingly enough, just for everybody to know, Jalen Waddle, he was out last week. He's probable. He's got the concussion thing. How effective is he going to be? Is him being out on the football field good enough red herring to where Buffalo doesn't really have to worry about him? They need to double down up on Tyreek Hill. And I'm going to tell you, I think if Waddle had not been hurt with a concussion, I think I might be on Miami on this. Because of the threat of what Jalen Waddle is 100%. I don't think defenses have to they still have to account for Jalen Waddle, but not as much after coming off a concussion.
Well,
that could be something that turns around and bites them in the ass, but at the same time, they got to worry more about Hill right now than they do Waddle.
Well, the Broncos didn't have to worry about Waddle at all, and they still gave up 70. So I mean, he had 10 touchdowns.
Good point.
Five running touchdowns.
But it is.
It's also the Broncos. Yes,
it is fun. Now Von Miller's not in the game for the Buffalo Bills. Now, depending on what you think about that, he's got a knee injury. He is out for the game.
He's getting up there in years too, isn't he?
He is getting up there, but still, I mean, you don't play on the Buffalo Bills unless you've got something going on. Okay, so he's able to bring it out there. Some other guys out for the Buffalo Bills. We got Jordan Payer. He is out for the game, as well as Naheem Hines. Then on Miami, as far as out are concerned, is wide receiver Akanama. They don't necessarily need him per se. And the ones that are out, not necessarily probable or questionable because you never know. Jalen Phillips, linebacker, he is out for the game, as well as Needham. He has got an Achilles. He's probably going to be gone for some time, and he's a cornerback. That's one of the bigger ones, the cornerback being out of the game. So, it just depends upon what's going on for him. So, that's your injury report as far as that is concerned. And so when you see, I'm thinking third down is going to be a big part of this game. And normally third down is part of pretty much every game. But I think in this game, it's probably more present in reality. So I'm going Buffalo. You're going Miami. This one's going to be really interesting to see where the picks come out on this one. You know, as far as the spread out, as far as our league,
it's just truly a pick 'em. That's for sure.
Definitely, truly probably the most pick 'em game on the schedule here today. So that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Catch us from 9 to noon, and also the next week, the Saxon Mustangs, they are on the bye. So that being on the bye, that means we don't call a game. And there's a stadium that is not letting us in to call that game per se. And that's Williams, and that's against Garland. We won't be able to call that unless there's a last-minute opening. Then we'll slide in, but if not. Now, I was going to go to the Chicago game. However, we might get a live report from Soldier Field, from Cuervo, a little bit later on in the game. So we'll save that one for when he gets here. So let's head into the next one where I had to think really hard on it, which I hate the fact that I had to do that. But the Baltimore Ravens 2-1 go against the Cleveland Browns that are 2-1. By the way, Cleveland looking really good, although we're seeing Deshaun Watson not be that top tier quarterback, but we're seeing a defense from the Browns that are playing good. Then you look at the other side as far as where the Baltimore Ravens are with their quarterback. Their quarterback is supposed to be the guy. Remember, they're paying that guy $55 million to play quarterback. Whether or not he's putting it together, I don't know. 2-1's a pretty good record after 3 in reality, especially within the division they play. This is a division game. There's always a dogfight, And by the way, we're talking about this game because unfortunately we will not get Obi in today. I think he's in San Diego. Everybody's traveling. So we won't get him in. So talking about this one, this was a really interesting, again, back to the fact that it's a division game. And right now, we don't even know the identity of either one of these teams in reality, except for the fact we're seeing the Cleveland Browns playing some really, 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 really good defense so far this season. And that's the reason why they're sitting at the 2-1 position, not because necessarily the quarterback.
You know what I want to see?
Yeah.
I want to see the Baltimore Ravens going to Cleveland wearing the old Cleveland Browns jerseys.
Confusing the other one wears the other.
Yeah, confusing the hell out of the fans. At this point, they're like going. At this point, this will be their version of the blue and gray game. So I mean, look. You know what? Both teams are kind of the same. Both teams
right now they are.
They're coming. They got the same record. They're kind of playing with the same type of momentum. I hate saying that word a lot because that means it's just a crush word, and I hate that. But crush words always suck. But once again, Sonny's all he's all going on based on what what Lamar Jackson makes more than what he's doing on the field, because that's
hold on.
That's your issue.
He hasn't done anything out on the field to earn that money. So
he's 2-1. And if he was 3-0, would he have done enough on the field to do that?
Well, guess what? They were 2-1 last year. Okay, I want to when Lamar Jackson plays a full season at the quarterback position at this point of his career, then I will say, okay, I like the $52 million.
Okay,
but until he proves that he can do it. In fact, what happens as far as Lamar Jackson is concerned? Matter of fact, let's just strap it on or strap it in. So let's just strap in here. Okay.
I'm not strapping
because I'm not sure if we're going to get Bryce right here. But quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, guess what? Are now everybody's saying this is the way the NFL is going to be headed. Well, I got news for you. None of them are worth a crap. These running quarterbacks are not worth a crap. They're definitely not worth the $55 million that Lamar Jackson is concerned. You want to know who is the regular quarterback that is, statistically there? It is the pocket quarterback. The pocket quarterback is going to be the team. And listen, look at the Super Bowl with all the hype. Pocket quarterbacks win Super Bowls. Now, a running quarterback might get you there or might get you the championship game, but they're not giving you the thing. I'm telling you right now, because they are that guy that are the target. You can say whatever you want about there's some money being passed around if you can take out Lamar Jackson. I'm telling you right now there is. There's bounties all over him, and there's bounties on the running quarterback. I mean, right now, they might be able to get you to the playoffs, but what are they actually doing to get you to the Super Bowl? And they haven't gotten to that point where you consistently seeing these quarterbacks that are consistently running. Even Jalen Hurts is more of a pocket quarterback than he is a running quarterback. Although he gets the title that he's a running back.
He still throws his legs.
If you have the standard of the pocket quarterback, your team has a better chance of winning football games, especially in the big games, and that's just a fact.
Okay. It's a fact because there's history behind that, right? A lot of history behind that. Okay.
There's proof. There's proof it's not working.
All right. But here's the thing. It's a different league now, okay? Concussions are like quarterbacks who stand back there like statues and get knocked the hell out
Mhm.
They don't have the durability to keep a long career going like it used to back in the day. Now,
That's just not true.
okay.
That might be the impression, but that's just not true. Because the running backs are a bigger target, not because of always running the football and they got the target, is because they get hit in the pocket too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more of a chance of it, more so.
They get hit, but the thing is, though, is that they have to stay. They're moving. I mean, once again, it's football. Injuries happen all the time, no matter if you're a pocket quarterback, if you're running quarterback. It don't matter. Okay, so at the end of the day, this is all about what's going to make my team win.
Mhm.
If Troyman was a great pocket quarterback, timing quarterback,
Absolutely.
got 3 Super Bowls out of the whole thing. But once that defense, it's all based on your offensive line. If a quarterback had a decent offensive line, 5 all-star guys right in front of him to block for every single play, and he can sit back there and be comfortable and look around and dance around and say,
Yeah.
okay, he's clever. They would love that. Okay? And then run if they have to. They would love that. But that's not how the league is because there's always injuries on the offensive line. Look at Dallas. They had 3 guys out last week.
Mhm.
So, you give up so much of those injuries because you get an all-star left guard, right? And
Right.
he is the end-all be-all, but he's hurt. He's tweaked. He's got to sit out. Now the guy who is not nearly as good as he is in there, giving up a big pass rush, making the quarterback run for his life. So now these quarterbacks saying, well, shit, in order for me to survive here, I have to be mobile. And it sucks because why should I have to keep running for my life and when I'm doing my job when my offensive lineman can't do his job?
Mhm.
So there's a lot of give and take on that. I get your point, but you got to understand the reality of the NFL. The reality of the NFL is injuries happen constantly, and you have to make the change with that. Look, I'm pretty sure no matter how bad the offensive line was for Dallas, Troy wasn't going to run. If you get back there and you touch him, he was going to go right to the ground. He became sack happy because once you get those concussions, those things add up. And when you get your first one, your second one's a lot easier to get. Then your third one's easier to get. And all of a sudden, your brain is sitting there going, should I be doing this or not? And that's where you're seeing these guys who are retiring before they hit 30.
Absolutely.
So while we can sit here as couch potatoes guys and sit there and go, well, we could have done this and we could have done that, and we could have, dude, we're not out there getting killed. So I understand why they're running for their life. Now, the league has done everything they can to protect the quarterback. God knows they've done everything, but all it takes is because you know what? What's one infraction? 15 yards. So
Yeah.
you got a bounty on the quarterback. You go out there and you knock his head off. You cost you 15 yards for roughing the quarterback or unsportsmanlike conduct. Okay, they got a backup quarterback now. We're gonna be able to stop him. Now, if you're the Cowboys, you can't because clearly, as they pointed out, they can't beat second string quarterbacks. But that's the league you play in. So I get your point, but you got to understand the league changes.
Well, as the league changes, okay, as you say, and I completely get it, things remain the same. And the things that are changing are running quarterbacks. The things that are not changing are Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, and they're not running quarterbacks.
Okay.
So
getting back,
as things change, they remain the same.
Right. So getting
as
back
far
to
as the results are concerned.
Getting back to the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, wait. Before we do that, we got an update from Cuervo in Chi-Town. He is at Soldier Field, about ready to walk in. There you go. So there's the update. We should probably be hearing from him soon. Go ahead.
Cool. Now, going back to the whole Baltimore. Thank you. I got Baltimore winning.
I do too.
Because once again, I know Cleveland can do things without Nick Chubb, but can they do things with a team equally the same as they are without him? I don't know.
Kareem Hunt, though. Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, but this is his first week back, right?
Yeah, well, I think he got a couple of touches last week just to probably shake off a little bit of the rust.
Still got a lot of rust to go though, so we'll see. I mean,
We'll
once
see.
again, all it takes is one big game break, but I don't remember him being a big game breaker.
Well, when I think about Kareem Hunt is a starting quarterback on any other football team except for the Cleveland Browns when they have, Nick Chubb. So he's normally a starter. And this guy also knows his worth. He says, I'm going to stay out until someone pays me. And by the way, the Browns had to pay a little bit more to bring back a guy. And it was a good thing, too. In reality, you think about it, because you want a guy that knows that offense and he knows the offense. Now, the Browns up on top of that, will they be ready? I don't know. But here's just some of the things I'm looking at as far as the offense is concerned. As far as points scored, the Baltimore Ravens are 14th. They're averaging about 23.7 points a game, as the Browns are 24.3. And take over because my TV is being delivered.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Well, I got the widescreen version of me. By the way, check out Offshoots TV every Thursday night on Offshoots TV on Facebook. We're also on YouTube as well. Talk a lot of pro wrestling, and we talk a lot of movies and stuff as well. So, also I got the Tailgate Talk Show. It's on the Podfather channel. Go check that out. That's on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Those are live as well. We talk Dallas Cowboy Talk. And we got Sword Championship Wrestling coming to the Dallas Elks Lodge this coming Saturday, as the network has been prominently featured on the poster as the network. Nothing, no picture, nothing. But Nate the Great returns, and Nate the Great will be, he's looking for something. We're not sure what it is. We'll see what it is when we get there. But until then, here's Sonny.
I thought someone knocked on my door. I thought I heard it, but I'm just hearing things. So anyway, by the way, I'm hoping when to get a friend of mine and I go out to that
Hey,
go out to the Dallas Elks Lodge.
Hold a second. Someone's at your door, sir.
Yeah. Was that you?
No.
And it sounded like it. I mean, it sounded like it right there, but no. I normally they even tell me when it was delivered. I guess I shouldn't have fell for that, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my eyes out for a new monitor for old Sonny. Set right there.
All right.
Watch it. I got a 40-inch TV right here.
We don't want to hear how rich you are. Come on, let's start talking football.
Well, hold on. I bought the 40-inch TV off of Marketplace for $40. Okay, all right. So
nobody wants to hear about
only $88.
Listen, they don't want to hear you talk about so and so's contract. We don't hear about your finances either, sir. Okay, come on.
So anyway, all right. So on the other side, I was looking at the defenses. I mean, 8th in the league are the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they're only giving up 18 points. But guess what? The Cleveland Browns, they're only giving up 10 points. But I'm thinking, as I jumped on the running quarterback, this is a different quarterback from the traditional teams that they're on. You go back and look at the schedule for the Cleveland Browns. Let me just pull that up because it's a point I was trying to make, and if I wasn't so rudely interrupted
by what
with the knock at the income knock at the door. All right.
Sir, Jesus came knocking at your door, sir, and you shut the door to him, all right?
Yeah, either that or a Mormon, one of the two. But hey, it is what it is.
Hey, have you heard the good word yet today, sir?
Yeah, but look at what we're talking about. Okay, Cleveland against the Bengals. Guess who's a standing statue quarterback? Joe Burrow, right? Right? Now, the only one that is a little bit different will stay in the pocket until it all needs, that being what's the guy in Kansas City? His name's slipping my mind. I see his face. Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is more of a guy. By the way, they beat the Bengals, and then the Browns. The Steelers. The Steelers won the game with the pocket quarterback. But the Titans, they beat the Titans with a statue quarterback, as you like to say. So, and going back to that, the game that they did lose against the running quarterback. Hold on, let's see, Steelers. Well, hold on. So I was incorrect. So all three of the games were statute quarterbacks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I will say this, and I will give Lamar his props. He is a different player, even as the running quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He is different than most of them. So I actually gave them more points in this game per se against the Cleveland Browns. Now the numbers are telling you right now to take the Browns. That's what scares me so much when most of the numbers are saying, listen, you need to go to the Browns. And guess what? It is a quarterback that wins 75% of his games, that being Lamar Jackson. So, there's a lot of things to look at in this game. And the simple fact of the matter is that I really like the fact that this game right now, by the way, it's sunny and clear, 75 degrees. Okay. I think this sets up really well for the Baltimore Ravens. There's no conditions out there that they've got to worry about. I think Lamar Jackson, and he's been playing well so far this year. I picked him last week. Only a few people picked Baltimore last week out of our league. I don't know if I want to believe the hype of the Cleveland Browns right now. So when you're looking at this game, what are you looking at as far as Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens and Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns?
I'm looking back last week if I actually picked the
I
Ravens.
don't think you picked Baltimore. I think you picked the other team.
No. I picked Baltimore and I lost because the Colts won. So yeah, I lost that one. But no, I picked Baltimore last week and they lost to the Colts. Once again, okay, you're done with a very a very pissed off Baltimore Ravens team. Lost to a team they shouldn't have lost to.
Well, no, Baltimore won last week.
No, did they?
I'm almost sure because I had it.
No, I'm looking at it right here. It says the final was Indianapolis 20-22, Baltimore 19. I picked the Ravens.
Oh, that's right. They lost in the last part of that game against Indianapolis. That's right.
So they're probably pissed. I mean, they lost at home. It's a game they should have won.
Yes.
Now they got to go to Cleveland. They got to go beat up their next opponents because you can't live like that. I mean, if you're going to be a solid perennial favorite in your division, you can't live like that.
I fully agree with you.
And to lose by 3, you think, okay, well, it's what it is. The other teams got lucky. But the thing is, your team.
That's how a game go.
But you shut down to let that team happen the way it did. And now you're going to go into. I know there's no one on either team that was there when the Cleveland Browns left for Baltimore.
Right.
Except I think Ozzie Newsome is still in the front office for the Ravens. I think.
Well, no, I don't know. Is he still there? If he is, it wouldn't surprise me. But I thought that he moved on a year or two ago.
Well, I'm sure the Art Modell family is sitting there going, "This is a big deal for them."
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm looking up Ozzie Newsome.
I never really thought about that.
So
I never really thought about that.
So
Ozzie Newsome is the
he's executive vice president, player personnel. So he still has Cleveland ties.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably a big thing for him. But then again, he's not a player anymore, so it doesn't matter. Once again, you want to go tell Lamar Jackson, "Hey, go win this for me," because we used to play there. He ain't gonna give a shit. So at the end of the day, they play him twice a year. This is just the divisional game. This is a game that the Ravens should win. This is where Cleveland's going to miss Nick Chubb. This is where Cleveland's is going to miss their biggest offensive weapon they got. And I don't care, Deshaun Watson. I never bought him when he was in Houston. I didn't have enough to see him do anything because of the massage thing. So I mean, clearly, what is he? We don't know. We don't know what he is. Correct. I mean, he's an overly hyped athlete who's got a lot of speed and throw the ball, but we never got to really see it in its prime.
Yep. Well, And interestingly enough, you say that, and I'm going to just interject really quick. 4 or 5 years ago,
you interrupting me?
This guy was not me. 5 years ago, they were talking about him being a top 5 quarterback, and I never bought into it, by the way. But they were talking about the ones who are were talking about it. Him being top 5 quarterback, and I never have bought into Deshaun Watson being that guy, mainly because of the team that he played for at the time, which was the Texans, and they always sucked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can't trust anything that comes out of Houston. They're all cheaters. But look, I because we still got the rest of this week to get through. We only got a short amount of time to do it.
Well, if we're the only ones here, we'll be able to do it.
Yeah, well, I got place to be at 12. Look, I think the Ravens win.
I think the Ravens do too.
I think they regroup and they bounce back and win.
I think mainly, both of these teams, the run offense is there, but you also got to remember, even though the Browns are 4th in rushing, they don't have Nick Chubb. It's a totally different look than where the Baltimore Ravens, who are 5th in rushing at 158 yards a game, you get the combination of the quarterback and running back running the football. But it's the run defense that is really interesting. Is the Browns have the 2nd best run defense in the NFL. However, that's usually with the run defense. That's not when you got a 2-headed monster coming your way. So it's a little bit different. I kind of look at that.
Well, but also they did that against the Titans offense. They did that with they did it against. I'm looking here at. They did it against the Steelers offense. They also did that when they lost the first week. They win or lose. I can't remember. Okay, yeah, they lost to the Bengals on the first week. So I mean, look, it's all about who you play, right?
Absolutely.
And
week in, week out.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm this is a way better game than the one that Cuervo's going to. That's for sure.
Well,
if all games get tickets,
that might be a good game because both teams suck. So it might be an entertaining game anyway.
I saw like a video. It's got Joe Pesci walking out there looking at the Broncos and the Bears and going, "What the fuck?"
It could be.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I got the Ravens. You got the Ravens. Let's move on.
I've got the and by the way, I initially just knee-jerked that pick, and then when I did the research and trying to figure out who I was going to pick, I still, even though all the numbers in reality are on the other side of this whole thing.
Okay.
The other ones, the stats, the numbers, and everything say Cleveland Browns. That scares me, man. I don't like it when it's got that much, and then you have Lamar Jackson on the other side again.
Well, on the pick'em thing, 53% picked the Browns, 47% picked the Ravens.
Oh wow! So it's really close. I wonder how that's going to spread around on our side. I just kind of wonder.
We'll see.
So kind of up on top of that. That having been said, that is going to take us into the next game here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. I think this one is interesting. The Cincinnati Bengals 1-2. They get off the schneid last week, and that was one I wish I had back.
Me too.
As far as the Rams. Yeah, I just wish I had it back. I just didn't feel that confident in the Browns because I listened to my brother too much.
I mean the Bengals?
Because my brother says, Joe Burrow hasn't shown me anything. And
I said that.
To that point, well, my brother also did too. I was listening to him.
Your brother and I are best friends, so it's just
it's something like that. Yeah, didn't even realize.
He loves the Podfather.
Not DC Dennis Clark. I'm talking about Fred Clark, who's never been on the show. But that being said,
never mind.
This one is. I mean, I didn't have to think very hard, and the main reason is in reality is when you look at what should make your football team be the better team. Your run offense is not good. You're 23rd in the NFL. You got the guy that does it. And I want to know there's some, and this is just in my mind. There's something wrong with Derrick Henry. He's not the same guy. He is not getting the yards. He is not a threat anymore right now. Throw on the fact that Ryan Tannehill has just been throwing up stinkers for the last couple of weeks. I didn't think very hard on this game at all in reality, as far as, Cincinnati coming back. I would have picked them even if they probably would have lost against the Rams on Monday Night Football this week. But maybe we get Joe Burrow coming back a little bit. Something tells me that this could get out of hand fairly quickly in reality as far as the Bengals Titans. What are you looking at it?
I got a message from my give me a second. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this out loud. There's a wrestler named Rick Davison. He just messaged me saying, "Thank you for putting Ruben into the Hall of Fame. My dad trained him. He doesn't get enough credit."
So, there we go.
That's awesome. Nice. So I'll reply back to him in a second. Look, Burrow found himself last week. He found what he was missing.
His mojo.
Yeah, maybe he's got it back now. Then again, it's all about
one week next to the net. He's capable of throwing up a stinker if need be.
And like I said about Ryan Tannehill, he might have one good game, but the next three are going to suck. So, that's just that. Derrick Henry's playing to the level that running back should be paid right now.
Well, you're right about. I get, and by the way, I get that debate. I completely get that debate. How many are the Derrick Henrys of a couple of years back? How many are deserving of that money? And listen, Nick Chubb is one. Kareem Hunt, I get his argument, but it's not good enough to get the money that he was kind of looking for. He gave in a little bit because, and so did the Browns, so they can have a quality guy back there more so than just, someone out there. Kareem Hunt also on third downs and getting out of the backfield and letting the quarterback find him. That's a big one for him too. Watch out for him. So like if you got a fantasy league, a Kareem Hunt wouldn't be a bad number 2 for you. That being said, though, this game here, I see a lot of what the Bengals are traditionally doing with Joe Burrow, which is dropping stupid games they have no business losing and then going on a run. The run might be happening a little bit early, starting in week 4. But in the years past, they've won a few games before they have had to go on the run. So, interestingly enough, I just don't think enough of the Titans right now. I love their coaching staff. I love what they do. I love some of the weapons that they have, that being Derrick Henry, their tight ends. I love their tight end set. They're not up on the top echelon, but they utilize the tight end quite a bit as well. But not enough, I think, to get past Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Same here. Burrows and the Bengals will win.
Yeah, and he's going to be a big reason why they win or lose in reality. Now, that being said, the next game that's up on tap here, the Los Angeles Rams 1-2. The Indianapolis Colts, on top of the AFC South, by the way, might be different after this week, but the Indianapolis Colts go up against the Rams. The Colts are at home. They got their quarterback of the future, right? They got their guy. So they're going to depend on that. How soon or how fast will it develop? I don't know. But all I do know is the Indianapolis Colts right now, scoring offense is 10th in the NFL. They're averaging close to 25 points a game. And the Rams, they're only averaging 23. So, going by that 1 point, is that a big deal? I don't know. Going up against the two type of thing. But what worries me about the Colts are giving up almost 24 points a game in reality. And that is good for 19th in the NFL. Now, say whatever you want about the Rams on the offensive side of the ball. They're scoring 23 points a game. That's where the Indianapolis Colts are. What's going to be good enough? Where's the defense gonna LA's holding teams to 20 points a game, and they're 1-2. So it's all about that eye portion of this game, remembering who the quarterback is. And I just don't trust rookie quarterbacks going up against experienced guys like a Matthew Stafford. Now, Matthew Stafford is kind of handcuffed right now because he does not have his number one target in the wide receiver in Cooper Kupp. He's not in the lineup, is not going to be playing. That hurts him. But more in the fact that the experience factor is what I'm looking at as far as the Rams are concerned with him at quarterback. What's your take?
Everything you just said, Rams.
Rams.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't have that much. You don't have that mad love for Bryce Young. Yeah, or what's his name?
Bryce
the
Young.
Rookie quarterback. Is it Bryce Young? I think that's
it's not Bryce Young. Bryce Young is in Carolina.
Well, whoever the rookie quarterback is, I forget.
It's Richardson, right?
Richard, yeah, exactly. Hold on. Let's find out if he's hurt because I know at one point he was kind of hurt. Richardson here on the injuries for there he is. He is probable with a concussion.
Okay.
All right. The backup quarterback, Sam Engler, he's questionable with a shoulder. Jonathan Taylor, the running back, is out for an ankle.
Well, they answered that question.
Yeah. So there's some things going on.
Well, you have two quarterbacks on the same team that are probably going to get their ass whipped. So
it's something like that.
Yeah. So I would trust the Rams more than the Colts, even though it's Indianapolis.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just kind of scary. With with certain guys and certain levels. I don't know what's going on with the Rams, because you say whatever you want about the Rams, they're not good right now. They're not that Super Bowl contending football team we saw 2 years ago. Well, they lost a couple of people on the defensive side of the ball. That's a big side. Not having Cooper Kupp in the lineup is a big loss for them. And let me just check and make sure is injuries for Cooper Kupp. And he's actually on injured reserve with a hammy. I don't know if that's a short-term injured reserve or if it's the full year. Either way, he's not going to be in the lineup today, so he's not going to be a factor. So yeah, I'm on the Rams this week. So and you're on the Rams. So that being said, let's go ahead and go into the next game. Where's my button? Right here. All right. So next game up on Tampa. This was one of the other games that were tough for me to pick. It's the 2-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers going against the 2-1 New Orleans Saints. Obviously, they are in the dome, so there's no weather factor in reality in this game. I've been back and forth on this one. I started out the week, I'm taking New Orleans. Well, Derek Carr's not going to be in the lineup, so that changes my whole aspect, even though Derek Carr is not that guy that I think is a guy that comes and tears into your football team to be the great. But you on the other side, you have Baker Mayfield, nothing to really write home to mama about, but he's won some football games. So that being said, you got a backup quarterback starting for the Saints, but you get Alvin Kamara back, and I think he's going to be a big part of this football game, not because they should do it. It's out of necessity because they don't have the Derek Carr.
I'm predicting 35-34 Buccaneers win.
I'm on the Bucs. I'm on the Bucs because of the quarterback position. Alvin Kamara hasn't been in the lineup. He's going to be rusty. I don't care how much work they do to stay in shape, but game number one after being on suspension, you think that, hey, and I listen, there have been times up on this show, okay, where I can take a look at something and guess what? I can admit it. I wasn't exactly right. This could be the case. Alvin Kamara could go in there and run for 150 yards, 3 touchdowns. I just don't think so. The odds don't say that's going to happen in reality. And that is one of the back and forth. But Derek Carr being complete, that even with Derek Carr in the lineup, I'm still questionable about this game. More so that the Buccaneers are on the road, that would probably sway me to be on the New Orleans side. But I think the fact they don't have Derek Carr in there turns this whole game around. And right now, Baker Mayfield doesn't have to be a superstar to win this football game, I think.
You got bigger playmakers on the outside for Tampa Bay than you have on the inside. And
This is true.
And let's face it, the Saints, they might got Kamara back, but what else they got?
Good point. Well, say whatever you want. They got the wide receiver. What's his nose?
Yeah, what's his nose? And what's his nose going to do?
No. What's his nose? It's here. It's just not getting here. I have that problem. It's right up here, and I can't get it here. What his name is? The guy's a star if he has someone throwing him the football. And the problem is that they don't. And who am I talking about?
You're going to look it up, aren't you? Okay, let's see here. New Orleans.
It is Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is a stud. He's a stud. If someone's going to, and he believes that the quarterback can deliver him the ball. Okay. Remember, he had Drew Brees throwing to him for a long time. Then all of a sudden they get nobody at the quarterback and the guy gets hurt. He's still going to get his money. He gets hurt. He's not on the football field. That's where the money plays in line. Michael Thomas is one of these guys where, I'm pounding myself on the head going, gets the money, then all of a sudden he gets hurt. I'm telling you right now, if Drew Brees was in the lineup, that guy'd be in the lineup. It's one of those kind of things. It's a mental thing as far as when guys get their money. And Michael Thomas is a mental case when it comes to that side of it. I don't believe that he was hurt during the time that he was hurt, because if I think he's going to be in the lineup for Drew Brees, he should be in the lineup for the piece of garbage that they got, especially today, Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is a quarterback that hasn't seen an interception that he hasn't thrown yet. So any kind of situation, Jameis Winston has found a way to throw the interception. And he's and by the way, for those that were talking this week, this is the next one where you're going to strap in. Jameis Winston is not a good quarterback. Stop trying to make him a good quarterback. Stop trying to find numbers to justify your BS opinion about Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston sucks, okay? There's no other word for Jameis Winston except that he sucks. Now, if you want to try to make him look good because of stats, you can do that all day long. I'll take one stat and I'll say 36 interceptions in 1 year. The guy sucks, period. And Sonny's end of the story. Who you got in this one?
Oh, I got Tampa Bay.
I got Tampa Bay too. You told me earlier. I'm sorry.
You should pay attention to your own show. We told you, Tim. We told you 10 minutes ago before you went on a rant about Jameis Winston. Buccaneers are going to win.
Oh no, I needed to rant about that. I've been wanting to do it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Is Andy Dalton better than Winston?
At 100%.
Okay, then that answers that question that we had earlier this past year. Is Andy Dalton better than 32 quarterbacks in the NFL?
Well, now he wasn't the starting quarterback then. Andy Dalton is not better than Derek Carr, and Derek Carr sucks. So there you go.
Okay.
Well, I love the way you just kind of turn it to make that.
Well, I do, sir.
You're tweaking it, and I get it. I know who Trey Mack is, Jen A. Oh, I love it. Anyway, on to the next game as we are covering them all here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Still 17-7 in favor of my Jaguars. And by the way, I'm still not buying my own Jaguar football team hype. I'm still not. So
hey, I don't buy AEW, let alone the Jaguars. So there you go.
There you go. Is it the Khan family? Is that what it is?
It's well, I mean, I like Nick Khan, but you
Uh-huh.
know, I mean, I think he's pretty smart.
Is that what you think? He's pretty smart.
He's pretty smart. When it comes to doing what's best for business and everything else, yeah, I think, of course, Nick Khan's got Triple H there sitting there saying, "Look, this guy can, I've done this before. This guy can generate money, so hear me out," and he'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Whereas Tony Khan fires CM Punk and says, "My life was threatened." Yeah, he's trying to strike a deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling to go work for those people, bro. You think the Japanese mafia is a little more scared than CM Punk? I would think so.
I would think so too. I would think,
but he's Tony Khan. He's Tony Khan. He's got a line of cocaine a mile long. He's sniffing that all the way
is
to a
that
promo.
what it is?
He's sniffing all the way to a promo.
you.
He's like,
saying Tony Khan is a
man, we got some good stuff on it's got me so excited. I cannot wait for this.
That is awful. I'll even say for you, that's bad. That's bad.
Well, you get all that and more so on Offshoots TV every Thursday as we talk about Tony Khan.
I can only imagine, especially with the cast of misfits that you have over there.
Hey, I would never call Omega a misfit, sir.
Not to his face, anyway.
No. I would never call Billy.
How's he doing? I know he's hurt. How's he doing?
He's doing better. He's adjusting right now, but he should be going here pretty soon.
Good. I heard about him getting hurt, and I was like, "Damn, that sucks." I do not like him.
Yeah. No, but he's doing okay. And of course, you got Billy Hills, who
I'm telling you right now, he's one of the most agile big men I've ever seen in the ring. This guy can move. He's amazing.
You talking about Omega?
Yeah, talking about Omega.
Oh yeah.
Not only that, he's scary as all get out, but he can actually move.
But dude, I jumped his ass. I jumped his ass big time when I saw the video. We did a reaction video of him wrestling Dean Fleming. And Dean Fleming is half his size.
Absolutely.
And we watched Dean Fleming knock Omega down to the ground. I'm like, Omega, you were twice the man's size. Why are you going down? He's like, it's Dean. He's superhuman now. I don't know. I'm like, okay.
Superhuman writing. Anyway, that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Catch us from 9 to noon each and every week as we go through.
I think we can speed rush through some of these games.
Oh, sure we can, but I also got an hour and 10 more minutes on my show.
That's true, but I mean,
for you might need to get out of here when it's time. Well, you need to leave about 11:30.
12.
12, yeah, right at kickoff. So what you
right, but I'm saying because you got a lot of games to get to, and you keep going on about the Ravens and how much money they spent on Lamar Jackson.
I've been doing this for 14 years.
I'm aware, sir. I heard your intro,
and I've been doing the same thing, same kind of thing, rushing the last 5 minutes to get the last 5 games in because I want to talk about certain games that I want to talk about.
Bro,
that's just me.
Bro, I heard your intro in the beginning. Don't worry about it.
I mean, we could have been done in an hour if we wanted.
Right? I know, no shit.
But that's not what the show is.
I got a picture early for this. Okay, come on.
Listen, I dive into these. I look at angles. I see what's going on.
I'll be kicking myself in the ass by 11 o'clock saying, why am I not home right now?
I think, now that I think about it, I think Bryce is at a football game today. That's the reason why we haven't seen Bryce yet. I'm going to tell you right now, Bryce makes this show 10 times better. Oh, no, he's not at the football game because Pittsburgh's in Houston. However, we're not talking about that game. We're talking about the Washington Commanders, 2-1, surprisingly, 3-0 against the Philadelphia.
But got their ass handed to them last week.
Well, yes.
Got their asses handed. I mean, was shown, but the NFL showed them.
And you picked Washington last week, didn't you?
I know. It pisses me off.
I was shocked because I was looking at that game as far as you and Team Impact. You guys are getting together on certain games. I'm going, yes, go ahead, continue. Because Impact, after week number 1, was leading this thing. We kind of falling down here a little bit. Yeah. I wish my brother would get the Team Impact. Hey,
I heard their picks for free, so go ahead.
Talk to Impact about that game.
I'm sitting there at work, and I'm sitting there going, well, I'm sure the Commanders. I mean, who they play last week?
Who? Washington?
Yeah.
They played right here, and they lost against Buffalo. Why did you pick them against? Because you got a hard on against Josh Allen. I'm just saying.
Well, first of all, I don't have a hard on for any man, but okay.
No,
but
in the traditional sense of that word, not being tradition.
Look, I wasn't wrong by the fact that Josh Allen is falling apart. However, I was totally wrong.
No, you are, but that's okay.
I was 100% wrong about Washington having a complete football team at this point.
I was.
I'm not afraid. I'm like you, who's a freaking narcissist. I ain't afraid to say that I'm wrong.
Oh, no, hold on. Whoa.
You even said you're a narcissist.
Back this up. Listen, I can't tell you how many times on this show I've had to say, why do you think I got the soundbite? I have to. That's for me, not for everybody else.
I know. For me. But anyway, having said that, look, they're playing the Washington is going to Philly. They're playing the Eagles. Clearly, God does not like them. Okay, because the Eagles are going to whoop the living crap out of Washington because the Eagles are right now that team. Huh?
It might get. I think.
I don't think they'll score 70.
All the hype on Sam Howell, that hype is going to go down because I agree with you. I think they put a 40 burger on him today, minimum today.
Yeah, I mean, it won't be 70 points, but it might be 70 close to it.
But it'll be a fluent ass kicking through the whole.
Which, by the way, now that we live in the Madden generation of athletes, where these guys play Madden football and score 100 points per every game they play, on easy. Let's face it, scoring 70 points might be a regular thing by now.
In Madden world,
but I mean, in real life, because here's the other thing. You can't just not play the game hard, even if you're ahead so many points, because injuries will happen. So you have to keep playing it. You have 60 minutes. Keep playing the game. So for any coach to then go, well, that's totally out of class and run score the way they did. Well, it's your fault for not having the right team on the field either.
Well, so look at Atlanta in the Super Bowl. I mean, they had that thing won.
That was on them.
That's why
so pissed.
I was so pissed. That's atypical Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan has not been the same since. It has not been the same since. And here's the good thing for Howell. He's young enough to maybe get over the ass kicking he's about ready to get today.
Problem is, he's got to play him twice.
It's more in the fact. It's more in the fact that you look. When I'm comparing that,
okay.
I didn't have to think about it, but think about the numbers. They're 19th, scoring 19 points a game. The Eagles are scoring 28 points a game. That's seventh best in the NFL.
Okay, I'll say this: if Washington wears the red uniforms, they might have a chance.
So
if they were white.
Yeah,
and it's all white. And it's all white.
They might be right. They might be in road whites.
Yeah, and if the Eagles are wearing green, they're fucked.
Can be. And by the way, the line is 9, which means they expect them to win by 2 touchdowns. In reality, not 10 points, but they expect.
I mean, the 3 points.
Side, but the experts are saying 14.
I mean, the 3 points are already given to the home team, no matter what. So the extra touchdown involved is just there.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's gonna be a blowout.
If this was a real number, I would say 17. That would be fine. And then I might think about maybe taking Washington to maybe cover, the line. But they're going to get beat by 14 to 17 points today. It's going to get ugly. It's going to be a hard watch.
I will say this:
okay,
Washington would take back the Redskin name. That will strike fear into the eyes of the Eagles.
That's a big story, by the way, Trey. It's a big story. I've been reading a lot about it. I'm glad you said something because I wouldn't have said something.
there's Native American people who are sitting there going, no,
They're
that was
pissed,
our
dude.
that was
They're
all right.
mad.
I mean, because FedEx called Dan Snyder at the time and said, look, you don't change the name, we're going to take our money, we're going to take our name off the stadium.
Absolutely, and listen, the
Well, guess what? Dan
businessman,
Snyder's not there no more, so there you go.
listen, the business got in the way of tradition. Okay, all right. We back in the day, we played Cowboys and Indians. Now we're not allowed to say that anymore. It's Cowboys and Native Americans. There's certain things that traditionally may have something, but when you got the people that are involved with it saying this sucks, you got to give some credence to what they're saying. I think. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not going to get into that debate here. But when you got the people, the actual people who are mad about it are the people that everybody thinks that's where other people getting offended for other people. It's almost like, well, it is out of control in reality, and I think. I don't know. Will they change it back? I don't think the NFL will allow them to change it back to that, regardless of what it is, because the NFL is too much. They're too political.
You know what? Then they call them the Warriors and get it over with.
Well, there you go.
But here's the thing. I work for the nation up here in Oklahoma, right? You know how I greet people? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing about that. You can't just call them the Warriors because Golden State has the trademark on the Warriors. They can't.
I mean the Giant. I mean the New York Giants and the San Francisco Giants have the same name. You could do.
They also have the understanding.
But that can always be changed. That can always be changed.
That's a big check that's being written nowadays.
I mean, hell, one time
nobody cared about it years ago. They just wrote a little check, and it was all
back
good.
Back in the day, the St. Louis Cardinals were both an NFL and a baseball team.
Well, they're also owned by the same. Come on, dude! They're owned by the same.
No, they weren't.
Yes,
no,
they were.
No, they weren't.
Yes, the Bush Company owned the football team and the football team. Now they sold the football, but initially,
it was
fine. The Bush.
Anyway, Eagles win.
Eagles win. Yeah, by the way, Eagles win. In other words, that's Trey Max is saying, can we please get to the next game? All right, so the next game up on tap for today is an interesting one. It is, and it's one of the early ones, and I'll be watching this. It's the 0-3 Minnesota Vikings going against the 0-3 Carolina Panthers. One of these teams is going to be 0-4, and oh my good Lord! And I don't know how it's not the Panthers. I mean, I could sit here and talk about this game all day long, look at the stats and everything, but Bryce Young, hey, got him on the right team now. Anyway, that's how irrelevant, in my opinion, that Bryce Young is. I don't even know what team he plays for half the time. So that's how much I feel about that. Having been said, I think this could be an interesting game if Kirk Cousins is not being able to deliver the ball. And by the way, I got checked because that's what I do. Hold on, let me flip. The injuries were, at the end of the game, we saw Justin Jefferson for the Minnesota Vikings have a problem. However, he is not on the injured list. So, and not even questionable, probable, or out. So evidently that little tweak we saw was exactly what it was. It was a tweak that we saw at the end of the game.
You know why? Because getting your feelings hurt that doesn't quite constitute putting you on injury reserve list.
Say that again, because you were a little far away.
Okay. Having your feelings hurt doesn't put you on the injured list, sir.
Well,
being 0-3 is hurting his feelings right now because he's a star player. He should be on a team that's actually winning games.
And you think about this, okay? Think about this. After last year and losing in the playoffs, like the way they lost, they should have came out of the gates just foaming at the mouth, because really the only thing that changed a little bit is the defensive coordinator, and the defensive coordinator is Foles. Okay, so that got not Foles. Used to be the head coach for the Miami Dolphins and went to Pittsburgh. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. It's here. It's just not here. Don Shula.
Don Shula.
Don Shula. Him. Yeah, that's right. Brian Flores. Brian Flores is over there on the defensive side of the ball. You would think that defense would be a little bit better, but here's the problem. More so as far as Minnesota is concerned, you would think the offense is a little bit better, and it's just not there. And the reason why it's not there is because when you are forcing the ball because you're losing a game compared to just being who you are, it changes your football team. Right now, Minnesota is 15th in the league, scoring 23 points, and with Jefferson, that should be 27 or close to 30. I'm sorry, when you got that guy being who he is huge. However,
gotta get the ball to him now.
You got to get the ball to him and not throw the interceptions, which Kirk Cousins has fallen back into. But the only problem is the scoring defense for the Minnesota Vikings are giving up 27 points a game. Now, how does that compare to today with the Panthers only scoring 18 points? Well, give them 3 more points, it's 21 points. And in reality, Minnesota can score 24 points a game. In reality, but as far as the defense is concerned, Minnesota's pass defense is 25th in the league. That is huge. But the problem is that the pass offense for the Panthers is 22nd in the NFL at 200 yards a game. The numbers as well as the eyes on this one, they combine really well. The better team is Minnesota. Minnesota dropping this game, would it shock anybody outside of a Minnesota Viking fan? No, because they are 0-3 and they've been playing like dog crap. So the fact of the matter is that this should be a game that should be a blowout. The question is will it be? And I don't know if it will be.
Well, first of all, Sonny, you need to change the score. The score is now Jaguars 20, Falcons 7.
Thank you. I'll do that. I haven't looked right where my screen's up. Thank you.
Second of all, Minnesota needs this win to save their season. Carolina, the hell with Carolina right now. Carolina's in a rebuild. They're going to figure out a few things, whatever. They might win a few games this year. It's not going to be expected. But if Minnesota's going to, if they have any hopes of keeping Jefferson on that team, they better start winning.
Oh, well, and they better find another quarterback because Kirk Cousins is not going to last there all long. You want to talk about a guy that's been taking a beating for the last 3 years? Kirk Cousins. They better get a decent backup or the quarterback of their future, or you're right. They're going to lose Justin Jefferson in free agency, and he'll make a lot of money.
Colin Kaepernick's out there, so there you go. Give him a shot.
I thought he was going to be with the Jets, man. Someone said he was a Jet.
He hasn't been hit in 6 years.
Yeah, so maybe some people would
that
say
guy's going to be 70 years old, so they're going, guys, I'm still ready to play. Come on.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the Jags are going to win this game. It's 20-7, 3:35 less to go in the game. So Jags looking, like they got this one. Of course, that home field advantage. Impact.
Hey,
he should have took the Jaguars.
I did.
No, Impact. Just Jeremy York. York Impact. He should.
I'll be well. Hopefully,
and by the way, Jacksonville's about ready to try to score again. So
okay. Well, hopefully, if this happens, I'll be 2-0 so far this week, which is a good start to the week.
Hey, that's good. Because when you can get Thursday in this early game, you start the day out. But everybody except Jeremy is on that.
And the one game we're not talking about is the game that already happened, which was the Lions and the Packers, and how the Lions are. You know what? I'm sold. They're
contenders.
They're contenders. Yeah,
they're contenders. They're going to win the NFC North, probably, because Minnesota is just god awful. Unless they start ripping it off, and then the Lions start losing. That's the way that one's going to head. How are they going to be in the playoffs is going to be a big story too. I'm waiting for that story. Well, I bought into them last year, and everybody thought I was nuts. And I said, dude, you need to watch the Lions. They're a good football team. Okay. So anyway, that being said, Minnesota, you're on Minnesota?
Yeah, of course. I couldn't put tie on there, so I just want to pick Minnesota.
Yeah, okay. All right. Very well. All right, Pittsburgh who are 2-1, by the way. You know, probably that was one I wish I could have back last week.
How are they 2-1?
Pittsburgh's 2-1.
How are they 2-1 though?
That's a good question because they haven't really been playing good.
Yeah.
You know what? This T.J. Watts. T.J. Watts is that guy that can play. By the way, T.J. Watt. They're playing Houston 1-2. They're celebrating his brother J.J. all over the place down in Houston. And at this game, he's going to be the halftime thing and everything. So, and TJ is going to go in there and show why he's just that much better than his brother ever was. I said it. He's better than J.J. Watts. He's been better than J.J. Watts.
You talking to me?
Steelers. I don't even have anything else to say. Steelers. Rookie. I don't know.
Hey, by the way, happy birthday to my showmate Michael McCurdy today.
How old is he?
He turned 62 today.
Are you lying?
Yeah, I am. No, he turns 51.
I was gonna say he looks 50, so he's 51.
Yeah, he turned 50 last year.
I look 50. I look my age. This is.
No, sir, you look 70 right now. I ain't gonna lie to you.
70. Yeah, and it's something. I knew something sucked about it. You know, it's the beard, maybe.
It's the beard.
It's got to be the beard. So, yeah. So, that being said, that leads us on into the next game that we're going to be. We're both on Pittsburgh, right? I mean, I don't have anything to say about the game. Although Houston went out and didn't they beat somebody last week or
Pittsburgh or who? Houston.
Houston went out. And beat somebody last week.
They went out there and they beat
Jacksonville. They went to Jacksonville and beat the friggin' Jaguars. Not only that, spanked them, got their asses kicked, by the way, being the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they answered that question pretty well.
Yeah, they did. But once again, it's yeah. Game wise, I got the Steelers winning because I don't trust the Texans. Never have. So
never will.
They're in Houston. They're a bunch of cheaters. You know, that's what it is.
Houston is Houston. They suck.
Listen. Look. Much like when the Ravens go into Cleveland, I want the Ravens to wear the Cleveland Browns uniform to really freak the fans out. Uh-huh. I want the Tennessee Titans to go down to Houston one time and wear the Oilers uniform just to see what would happen.
That would be cool.
That would be because
I always loved the Oiler on the side. I always loved that. Yeah, I was a young boy, you know, and then went into my teens before they changed it and moved it. Well, actually, in my 30s when they moved. But I'm Earl Campbell. I mean, geez, I had the pleasure of calling a game in Tyler, a football game, as when Rowlett went and there. So I was right there in the Rose Stadium and everything. And you know, and here's one thing I know: when you're in the presence of greatness, it just makes it. And I'm saying this because we don't call a lot of good games. We just have fun. That was a game that we just called really good. It was a good radio call. We don't do it well all the time. It's just you're around greatness in the tradition.
You're around greatness right now, and I appreciate it.
We've never been good. Don't get me wrong. We're not good. I never claimed we're good.
No, sir. You're around greatness right now with me. I mean, you're still.
Is that where? Oh, so that's the reason why this show's going so well, right?
I elevated your game and that's sore. That's all I gotta tell you.
Hey, you're the only game in this week. So there you go. We don't get Bryce. We don't have Obi. We might get Cuervo in the next. That's why I'm trying to stay in here because I look at a lot of the things I write down for the games and I stay on that page so I don't forget to do it. So I've been in here a lot to make sure that we don't miss Cuervo calling in from Soldier Field. So we haven't covered that game as well. I think that's going to be a mixed game on picks on the list. Chicago and the Broncos. I think that's going to be a mixed pick. I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk about it. Chicago And the Broncos, in case Cuervo doesn't get in, of course, we'll talk a little bit about it if he calls in. Who and why are you on? What team you're on?
What game was that again? Sorry.
Chicago is at home taking on the Broncos.
Oh, I'm telling. I picked Chicago. It's weird because the Broncos are getting like the bulk of the picks here, and I would just think a team that lost by 70 would be somewhat defeated, and would like look at their coach and go, "We brought you in for what?"
Well, I agree. They're either defeated or so pissed off, and they'll just blow the freaking Bears out of the water.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard to blow the Bears out of the water because look at their quarterback. Same fucking quarterback I drafted in my draft.
And he is our running quarterback.
Huh? He's
proving my point. He's one of them that
proves my point. He's not the right running quarterback. Look,
I didn't say he was the right quarterback. I'm just saying he is a running quarterback.
I think the Bears crowd will never allow the Broncos to be anywhere near good in this game. It's going to be for the Bears to do it, really, because the Bears are the ones playing them. But I hope the Bears can look at that game that they played, that the Broncos played last week, and think of that more as, look, this was not about the Broncos. This is about Miami being that damn good right now.
Well, that's a good point.
And
the other point is Russell Wilson. He's slowly getting better. Listen, they got their asses handed to him, and he'll be the first to admit he played like dog crap. But compared to what he's been playing, he actually had a pretty good name as far as stats are concerned last week. So the interception didn't help him. He's got to stop turning the freaking ball over.
Well, the interception didn't cost him the game either.
Though, they're the better football team as far as personnel is concerned in reality, I think, anyway.
Yeah, personnel, but the personnel should never lose a game by 50 points.
No.
I mean, look, here's the thing.
You're either getting your ass kicked or you're not, and they just got their asses kicked. It was just a little bit harder.
I think Russell Wilson's time has passed. I think he's worn out his welcome now. And you know what? He might turn around during this game. He might.
Wore out his welcome. I think I might agree with you there. This guy didn't all of a sudden stop knowing how to play quarterback. I'm sorry. I'm not going to buy into that yet. But as far as wearing out his welcome, a lot of people are dissatisfied with him, obviously. Well,
I agree with Sean. I agree with Sean Payton telling him, hey, quit being a politician, okay? Be a quarterback. You know, quit kissing babies and start kicking some ass on the field, because that's where they're gonna love you.
He needs to do that first before he starts kissing the babies, because he hasn't really deserved that. I wouldn't want him to kiss my baby. In other words, put it out on the football field before you start doing that crap. And I get it. And he hasn't done anything since he's been there. I'm surprised. I'm surprised we have. There are just a few games that when I was looking at these guys and I was asking myself, well, is this a team that could be better than what they were? Yes, I even looked at that division of football and said, based upon the personnel, this is a football team that can maybe compete for the playoffs. Right now, we're just not seeing it.
No, we're not. It's not good.
It's not seeing it.
It's not good.
So that being said, who are you going to pick in that game?
I want to take Cuervo's pick and go with the Bears.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm gonna give the nod to them. If they don't come back and win this game after being, their ass kicked all over the football field. If they don't come to play this week and blow out the Bears, out of all teams in the NFL, the Bears. Then listen, they drop this game regardless how it is. Then you start panicking about what the Broncos are going to be for the rest of the season. This is a put up or shut up time for the Chicago Bears or the Broncos. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hang on the Broncos on that one and move forward to that.
Well, the thing is, pick wise, that they're the front runner. Bears are at home though. That's the only thing that's really getting me is that they have the 3-point advantage at home. Will they have enough to put up more points in that? I don't trust their quarterback. I don't trust their defense. But then again, I don't trust the Broncos at all either. So it's kind of
That's why the game will be entertaining. The only thing,
so.
and here's the reason why. First of all, this game should be a blowout. Okay, especially after what happened last week as far as the Broncos are concerned. They should go there and mop the freaking floor up with them. And here's the problem. They're not going to. Okay, this is going to be a good game.
You know what? I'm changing my pick. I'm going Broncos. I'm going Broncos because
of
no.
Because of what I said?
Oh, the hell with you. No, I don't trust Justin Fields.
Right now. And by the way, that is the Bears' fault. That's not Justin Fields' fault. I'm not going to give it to him.
The thing is, he looked good last year in his rookie year. He looked good last year.
Exactly. Even though they lost the games, he looked good. He doesn't look like what he looked like last week.
Show it was last year. Now I say that.
I agree.
I say that and watch him put another 70 points up against the Broncos. So be my luck knowing me, but hey, look.
Listen, you got supposedly a GOAT, coach over there. You got a GOAT. I think Sean Payton is a fantastic coach. Should be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
That's what Jerry wanted.
No. That's not what he wanted. He wanted Jason Garrett, and he wanted that young cat at the offensive coordinator, like Kellen Moore. That's who he wanted to win the game. The problem is he knows.
Well, no,
he needs Sean Payton to be that guy, and he wants to be. No. I don't want it to be Sean Payton. I want it to be my guy.
Well, but here's the thing: when Sean Payton was the quarterback coach for the Cowboys under Parcells, when he saw the success Sean Payton was getting with the Saints, when Parcells left, he wanted Payton. Payton was already busy. He already had a job.
Yeah.
So he went to something that was, in his mind, like Sean Payton, which he wasn't, which was Jason Garrett. And that's where, when what won Jason Garrett over with Jerry Jones was the familiarity with him because he's a former player.
He had 3 opportunities to bring Sean Payton back to this football team.
Mm-hmm.
And by that time, it was too late.
Well, but here's the thing. Okay, we're going to fire, we can fire Jason Garrett, but he went 10 or 11, whatever, for that year, right? He had a winning season, just didn't in the playoffs. Or we can, we can fire him and bring in Sean Payton and then go from there. But then that's a big FU to Jason Garrett because of what he tried to do when he's trying to accomplish. Look, it is what it is.
Wait. If Jerry Jones can give you the big FU to Jimmy Johnson, don't you think he could give it to Jason Garrett?
Well, first of all, understand this. Jimmy Johnson wanted out of Dallas because of one reason and one reason only. When they brought in Tony Casillas, that was a Jimmy pick. Jerry took credit for it. Jimmy realized I'm never going to get the credit I deserve for this team because I'm not the owner.
Do you think do you think
yes.
Jimmy Johnson is that petty? I don't think he is. Oh, I don't know.
Jimmy Johnson.
I may be, and I might
Jimmy
be
Johnson
is
all about.
I've never heard anything
Jimmy Johnson.
like that.
Yeah. Oh, I have. Look, Jimmy Johnson is all about credit. He wanted credit for the success. Jerry did not want to share that success with Jimmy when Jimmy was actually the running general manager of that team, just not by name.
On that side, I'll agree with you because
Jimmy wanted out. Jimmy wanted out. He didn't stay in a place all too long. 5 years was almost enough. It was almost too much. I watched a documentary on the Cowboy time, and even Jimmy says I don't stay in a place very long. He actually wrote down on a piece of paper the year before, I'll be leaving on this day.
I know.
And sure enough, he left. And of course, it can be either Jerry fired him or Jimmy left. It doesn't matter. They're both going to go their separate ways.
Well, yes, but let's be honest. He would have been the coach of that football team Jimmy wasn't the one that was going to pick up and leave. He didn't fire himself.
No, Jimmy wanted to go back home to Miami, and he did.
But he didn't fire himself. That came from Jerry.
No, look, they agreed to part ways. It was the way it was explained. All right.
It was explained. We're getting rid of you. Let's make this a better. Make this
okay,
look
but
better.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore.
Right. It was Jerry's decision.
It was Jerry.
There was no mutual about it when it came up.
Jimmy wanted out.
It was only mutual after.
Do your research.
You're going to be gone.
Look, you hate the Cowboys. Do your research on a team you don't like, and then come back at me. All right.
Yeah. No. I know Jerry. I don't need to watch a documentary on Jerry Jones.
Okay.
I know who Jerry Jones is. Jerry Jones is an egomaniac.
Yeah, of course he is. But you know what? So is Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, yes.
That's fine. Two egos clash.
I got news for you. Listen, if you honestly think that Jimmy Johnson was gonna pick up and leave without being forced out the door by Jerry Jones, you're just crazy. I mean, he had maybe in a year or two, but he wasn't going to leave right then. He wanted to go back to Miami. There's no question. I know that. I know that history on him. Hey, he's got the boat. He lives on a freaking boat, for God's sake, and he has a mansion, but he lives on a freaking boat. I know where he wanted to be, but when it came time to figure out who was going to be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, it wasn't Jimmy going to Jerry's office saying, I've just had about enough. I'm out of here. That's not the way it happened.
Go and watch the year of 1993. Okay? He wrote down on a piece of paper before the season, this will be my last year. He wanted to leave. He was so disenfranchised with the fact that Emmett was gone for 2 games. I know we got today's show I'll talk about, but still, just go back and watch a documentary on the 1993 Cowboy season, and then come back at me with that, okay? You will come from the understanding that Jimmy wanted to leave. He wanted an out. Jerry gave him the out. Whether he was fired, whatever, it doesn't matter.
That's a great story. You're right. That's a great story. I'm not buying for 1 second.
Okay, don't buy it.
I wrote it down on a note. I'm not. I never did. I heard that. It's not the fact I heard.
All right. Can we get on with the game?
I've heard that story. Everybody who watches football has heard that story. I'm saying I'm not buying it.
Okay, don't buy it.
That's that.
Don't buy it.
By the way,
you be you. You be you, okay? You be the know-it-all you think you are, okay?
Listen. I completely understand. But no, I'm not buying the story. It's a great story.
Okay,
I'm
great.
not buying it.
You aren't buying the story of Deion Sanders either. So I mean, clearly you're hooked on to one thing, and that is you being you. Yeah, you're tied to your own opinion. That's great. That's awesome. I'm just saying there's a lot more to that story than just Jerry firing Jimmy.
No, there is a lot more, but I'm just not buying the fact that he would.
I know you're not buying.
Maybe in a couple of years, but I'm not buying.
Years. I ain't worried about that.
By the way, you can tell that story all day long.
Sure.
Okay, you can tell the story all day long. Whether or not someone's going to believe it is the bigger story.
Well, that's the thing. You're a conspiracy theorist, right? Like you think
I'm not. I'm a realist in my own mind.
In your own mind, that's a problem. Okay,
I called you a legend in your own mind. I got a little bit of that in my brain when I'm thinking about.
And how many championships do I have, and how many championships do you have?
Hey.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, but hey, you got lucky. That's all.
I did not get lucky. Luck does not have the junior heavyweight champion in his stable for almost a year, or the tag team champions for almost a year. Uh-huh. So no, there ain't no luck about it, sir. I'm a genius. Keep moving.
Jaguars get the win 20. What was the score? 23-7.
23-7.
Yeah, so nice to see that. Jags off the schneid a little bit. And now they can start talking about how great they are, even though that next week is the big one when they play Buffalo. If they beat Buffalo, then I'm still
buy him.
I want to buy. See, it's not because I don't want to buy into my Jaguars. I do. I want to buy into my Jaguars. The problem is they have games like they had last week. But
But every team's
they
gonna
have
that.
5 big games this year. They need to win 3 of them. They already lost 1 of them, and that was to the Chiefs. This is game number 2 of the big 5 they got, and that'd be a hell of a victory. But that game was also in Buffalo, so it's one of those things.
But every team goes to that one. Cowboys went through it last week. Hopefully, it was just 1 week. So we'll see.
Gotcha. All right. Las Vegas Raiders 1-2. Los Angeles Chargers 1-2. Both of them sitting on the bottom of that. Are not on the bottom because they got a Bronco team that can't win. So they're fighting the battle to try to stay in second place within this division. No Jimmy Garoppolo today. He's got the concussion, so they're starting. I don't even know who it is. I'm not even going to try to remember who it is. So that being said, looking at that, I'm on the Chargers today. I don't know how anybody could not be on the Chargers, but are you on the?
No, I'm not on the Raiders at all. So I'm picking Chargers all the way.
I think and here's another thing. You were talking about Justin Jefferson leaving a football team. They don't watch it in LA. They're gonna lose their guy, and that would hurt that football team. They need to at least keep him.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Success means a lot. And you don't have success, players don't want to sit around and wait for it.
Well, interesting enough, you say that. Think about the thinking. The wide receiver from Arizona goes and signs in Tennessee. Okay. D Hop, and D Hopkins comes out and says, "I don't have a lot of time for this." Or no, actually, it was the guy in LA. What's his name? That wide receiver, great not here.
Odell Beckham.
No, not no. For the Raiders. Hold on, I'll get it. It's just not coming to my brain.
ESPN, we are not.
Devontae Adams.
Wasn't he a Bronco at one time?
Live from Soldier Field.
Oh,
Well, is he going to call? Yeah, Cuervo, are you going to call? Are you going to come in?
I don't think he trusts. I don't think he trusts the Wi-Fi there at Soldier Field.
Well, if he doesn't have AT&T, listen. If you're going to do something like this, you got to have AT&T. It's just evidently.
Well, I have AT&T, and I know my signal dropped quite a few times trying to call on the show.
Yeah, I hope he can hear us too, because it'd be loud as hell if he don't have any earphones.
It's the Bears. No one's yelling over there.
Damn.
Look, they're too busy laughing at the Broncos right now. They don't got time to make noise.
I'm going to tell you right now, I think at least at that game, as far as what you can expect or whatever the case may be,
All right.
Cortland Sutton's going to have a big game today.
He should.
Portland, former
that
TCU guy.
That guy's teed up to have a really big game.
That guy needs to be on a different football team. I feel so bad for him right now. He'd be a superstar on almost any other football team out there. In fact, the Lions should go out and try to get his ass. That's what they ought to do. If they're going to make a pick, I think they're wide receivers. Are you going to be able to get this wide receiver? I bet you they could get Cortland Sutton and take him over there. I really honestly do. I think it'd be the best thing for him. So that being said, next game that's up on the board here today on the Couch Potato Sports Show, the Arizona Cardinals in San Francisco. A lot to talk about there, except for the fact that there's Arizona did what they did last week.
Yeah, but now they're playing the Niners, and the Niners are going to destroy them because that's what the Niners do right now.
Right now, they're just that good.
Brock Purdy is showing everybody that he might be the next elite quarterback in the league.
He might be. And by the way, what kind of quarterback is he? Oh yeah, he's a drop back quarterback. Stays in the pocket. He does one. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I'm saying he is a pocket passer.
But he's got an offensive line that protects him too.
Well, listen. So did Troy Aikman. Okay, the best offensive line, through the '90s was in Dallas. When you have a good offensive line, you get that extra second. It makes a huge difference on what you can do.
But even with that offensive line, Aikman had concussions. So,
that's true.
that's where it all started. So,
by the way, I don't know where I watched it, but that story with him and Lee Steinberg, his agent, whatever documentary that was with Lee Steinberg and Troy Aikman, is a hell of a documentary. I don't know what it was called, but I sat there and watched it, and I was like, that's amazing. He asked Lee Steinberg while he was in the hospital after that concussion. He asked 4 times, "Did we win the game?" Damn, that is That's see, out of the whole thing, I think about, by the way, thinking about that whole thing, I think about when I saw that documentary, it was about 5 or 6 years ago. And I think about quarterbacks when they go and they get that concussion and if it is as bad as Troy Aikman is, Troy got out just in time. Look what he's doing, obviously, with his career in the broadcasting, which, by the way, one of the best. I don't care what anybody says. Troy Aikman, I'll sit and listen to all damn day long. He got out just in time before he might have been squashed before he wouldn't be the same of what we see of Troy Aikman right now.
He really lucked out to get Joe Buck as a partner, though. Let's face it. I mean, how would Troy play with it? We've heard Troy do games without Joe Buck when Joe does baseball. But and he's really good, don't get me wrong. But
Joe Buck is great.
Yeah. I mean, him working with
he's
Joe
just
Buck,
that much better with Troy.
Yeah. The whole Aikman concussion thing. I'm gonna be you right front on be you for a second.
Okay.
That's a good story. Okay. No.
Well, hold on. There's that story's backed up not once, not twice, by many sources.
Sonny, I'm giving you shit. Okay. Yeah. Obviously, I mean, I remember I was driving home. I was driving back to my college dorm. The day of that championship game against the Niners, and feeling kind of sunk because now we have to rely on Bernie Kosar to win to take us to the Super Bowl, but it worked. I mean, we got there. So then what happened.
It's like you got Troy back. That was back in the day where they didn't care about concussions.
Well, if you remember, also,
or at least acted like they didn't care.
If you remember, that was the 1 year they didn't skip a week for the Super Bowl. They went right from the championship game to the Super Bowl. So he had 7 days to get ready.
Yep.
So
it's amazing.
Anyway.
I'm wondering when we're going to get Cuervo in here. He's saying he's coming. I don't know if he's just saying he's live at Soldier Field and he's bragging, the punk.
Okay. Brag all he wants. He's got good food up there. So I'm kind of into that.
Yeah, punk. Anyway, that being said, back into the show. Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco. I took 2 seconds to think about that game. I didn't go in and jump and do. Kansas City, and as far as the Jets, see, and just so that you know, Podfather, okay, I know what games were going up, and I knew we weren't going to be talking about them for very long. So that's why I kind of hung out on
I know. That's what you said.
Kansas City and the Jets.
Even those for 14 years, I know.
It's gonna be a disaster.
Yes.
it's gonna be bad, real bad. And you want to know why that's a problem? Okay, for a guy like me who watches Red Zone, I gotta watch that in the afternoon when there's only 3 games going on Red Zone, and I'm stuck watching that crap. That's what's going to be the bad part of the whole damn thing, in reality. But so when I look at that now, the game that I waited for as long as I could for, because I knew you were here. The Patriots and the Cowboys. Okay, this is going to be a good game. I don't even care who wins this game. You want to know why? Okay, because I'm going to see a defense from the Patriots that are going to put a hurting on the Cowboys today. And if the Cowboys can win that game with that defense in their face, I'll go back to believing a little bit more in them. This is a game right here where Dak is going to prove that he can be the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Here's the problem with Dak being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. He's going to be here next year because there's no great big thing that they can go out and grab and say, this is the guy we're going to bring in to be our franchise. They haven't figured that part out yet. So Dak is here next year regardless. Okay, so I know a lot of people want to get rid of Dak, and I'm at the point where I get it. But I think it's more coaching, more so than Dak. However, sooner or later you got to go. The only problem is that, and Cuervo and I, we talk about this all day. If you get rid of Dak, who are you going to get? Now, in this case, there are many that I think you could get. A lot of times when you talk about quarterback, like people say, I'll get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Well, who are you going to get rid of Aaron Rodgers? Drew Brees. Who are you going to get? Tom Brady. Who are you going to get there? But when you say Dak Prescott, you can actually talk about who you can get, I think. Whether that's going in the draft, but it's too late. They needed to do that last year. They didn't do it. They didn't get a franchise-type quarterback out of the draft. Or they need to go get a superstar and be able to bring him in like the Jets did with Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully they don't get hurt. But that's kind of what needs to happen here. But the Dallas Cowboys has never been that team that says, let's bring that guy in to be the next big thing. They tried that with Vinny Testaverde. It didn't work. Okay. They need to get that guy through the draft. They need to get the next big hype guy through the guy. Now, however, Tony Romo wasn't a hype guy, but they made him they found him. They saw him. Mm-hmm. They said, let's make you the quarterback.
That was a Sean Payton fine, too.
Say again?
That was a Sean Payton fine.
Absolutely, it was. Absolutely was, because he was the quarterback coach. He had a lot to say about that. Mm-hmm. But then again, they didn't go too high on him, and they basically stole Tony Romo out of the draft, by the way. No one expected. He was from Northern Michigan or something. Some kind of.
He wasn't drafted. He was on undrafted free agent.
Was he? Are you sure about? And I'm not questioning. I don't know. I thought they grabbed him up out of the draft out of Northern Michigan.
I saw a documentary on him, and like he waited day 1, day 2, and nothing happened. So he got a call from Sean Payton. Put in a call to Parcells and said, "Look, this kid broke all my records at the same college I played at. When we bring him in," and they brought him in, and he was able to somehow stick around.
Eastern Illinois,
yeah. So
there was no way that he was being drafted. That just wasn't happening. No. So good point. I didn't even necessarily. I thought they drafted him in like the 9th round, but I'm obviously thinking of somebody else. This was back in the day where they had many rounds, and I thought he was in the 9th round.
Eastern Illinois, Tony Romo.
Yeah.
So number 17. Oh, okay. Anyway. So who are you picking on this one?
I've been going back and forth on
I know you got mad love for Belichick. I know that.
I know. I do. I have mad love for Belichick, but I also got I still have mad love for Dak. I don't know. I might be the last of the ones that are hanging on because I think he could be great. But here's the difference when I was looking at the scoring offense for the Dallas Cowboys. They're scoring 28 points a game. That's 5th in the NFL. I look at the other side. I see Mac Jones, and they're 26th in scoring, and they're scoring 17 points a game, and they got a real defense coming down their face. Okay, this is not a normal defense. So I'm giving credit where credit is due in reality. I am saying that this defense is good. But here's the problem with that. On the other side of that, you got a defense that's coming from New England that is stout. So if Mac Jones plays out of his mind, they have a good chance of winning. I don't trust Mac Jones. The whole thing, and a lot of people say, Sonny, man, you're just thinking too simplistic. It's the quarterback. You just think it's quarterback. Hey, but when both defenses are damn good, of course you got to go quarterback. Because guess what? Even though the running game isn't great in Dallas, it's better than what they got going on in New England. Okay. So this game is going to be won with the quarterback and or special teams. And right now, the better quarterback, Mac Jones, Dak Prescott. You want to argue with me all day long, whoever you may be, and I don't think it would be you, but you want to argue all day long that Mac Jones is better than Dak Prescott. I'm going to say you need to go get drug tested. Get that vein up there. You need to go get drug tested. It's not even a comparison in reality. Dak Prescott is that much better than Mac Jones.
Okay. So who are you picking?
Well, I got a bubble filled, but I knew you would do more research on this game than I would.
Mm-hmm.
So I went. Right now, I'm on the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Right now.
All right.
But what you say could make me change this pick.
Okay.
So
all right. Okay. You ready?
All right. So Dallas is a 7-point favorite. So there's that.
Okay. Well, here's my thought.
Okay.
What happened last week? Cowboys are unfamiliar with Dobbs. He played like a complete stranger to him and lit up the defense as best he could. He was smart how to do it.
Good point. He wasn't great. He was just smart.
He was smart,
point.
and he was able to move the ball forward. That was the bottom line. He's able to move the ball forward 60 yards, 50 yards, 40 yards. I mean, whatever it was, he can push the ball down the field. Cowboys in the last 3 weeks have shown their red zone sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason why it sucks is because they don't have that guy. As I said earlier, they don't have the guy that can push the ball to the end zone. You know that I know we can't dig him up and put him out there on the field. We miss Marion Barber, a guy who just sit there. He'll take the ball and just hit you.
Just run it down your throat.
I mean, he might gain 3 yards of carry and that's it. But those are 3 yards that you really need right now. Now, don't get me wrong. Tony Pollard can run the ball. He's good in spaces.
He's good at between the 20s. He's great.
Yeah, but you get inside the 20, they need to quit. Okay, if this is where the running quarterback should really be a factor here, and it's not. Dak has the ability to back up. He's got to scramble. He's got the ability to tuck the ball and go forward. Why he doesn't do that? Maybe it's still in his head about what happened to him against the Giants years ago. I don't know.
Or maybe last week when he throws an interception in the friggin'
That's the thing. He could avoid all that and just ran it for a touchdown.
I fully agree.
But because he didn't, and whether he wanted the other player to get the never mind that you're trying to win a freaking football game.
Absolutely.
I want to see. You know what? I want to see what Zeke's going to do. Because think about this. The last time a star running back from the Dallas Cowboys went to another team to play against the Cowboys was Emmitt Smith.
Uh-huh.
And the Dallas Cowboys are the only team he cannot gain 1 yard on. And he even got knocked out of the game. So will it happen to Zeke? I don't think so. It's right. I think Zeke's is gonna dink and dunk himself into a 20-yard gain off a 20-yard game off of a screen pass. I think he's going to get himself in the end zone at least once, just to say that I'm here. Yes. I do like that Jerry Jones is going to honor him before the game because clearly this was a business decision, not keeping Zeke. This is nothing to do with him personally. It's just a business decision. But I also think if the Cowboys win, it'll be close. We're talking 17-13. If the Cowboys lose, you're looking at 28-13. The difference is that the Dallas offense cannot play with a deficit right now because they don't have the manpower to squeeze that ball in from the 20-yard line.
I think you're right.
But if their defense does what they did the first 2 games and dominates and gets in Mac Jones's face and shows him that he's not that great that people up the Northeast want him to be, that could be a game changer. And once again, this is not going to come down to if Dak Prescott's a quarterback. This is going to come down to whether or not the Dallas defense shines. If the Dallas defense can, if they can shine, get turnovers, get sacks, get what they have to get to keep New England from driving the ball down the field, they're going to win the game, no question about it. They'll find a way to get in the end zone. But they're not going to do it. But they added nothing to the equation this week that's going to stop the red zone problems. I don't trust their tight ends, who are the people who should be getting the ball within those 20 yards. I don't trust their running game because I think everybody's keen on that, knowing they're a three-headed monster, but it's a very unlikely three-headed monster. Meaning,
all right, don't go any further. Let me just make one. I'm with you 100% on what you're saying right now.
Okay,
keep going.
But
this is where this is what I was waiting for. The but.
I do worry that it's Belichick. Belichick has looked at our offense. I'm sure he's dissected it 1,000 different ways. But he did that 2 years ago also, and we beat him.
Right. Good point.
He did that with Mac Jones, and the Cowboys know who Mac Jones is. That's going to be your. Are we going to get the same Mac Jones this year that we got 2 years ago? Or much of the same. Again, what does he have around him? You know?
Oh, hold on. You got to do it. I'm not going to play the intro because I don't sure how long I'm going to get him. It is Cuervo from Soldier Field. How you doing, Cuervo? You got us?
What's up, guys?
Yeah. Show the field. Show the field again.
What's up?
Show the field again. Let's see where you are. Show the field. More. Wow.
No,
you're in the front. He's Bob Euchre. He must be in the front row.
No, Cuervo, go back to your wife. She's wearing the right shirt.
Yeah, go back to the right. Yeah. Let's see the better part of the video.
I can't hear anything you're saying, Sonny.
Of course you can't.
You're not.
I kind of figured. Oh my word! We want to see your wife. I mean, you got the bear. He's got this bear thing. Show your wife again. I want to see what your wife is wearing. Show your wife. There you go.
Oh, she's got her chain too.
She got that. Yeah.
Yeah, we got this too.
We are on the Broncos today. That is cool. That is cool. You should have brought your headset so you could hear me. It's always good to see old Cuervo. So,
yeah. Almost.
So who you got?
Guys.
Are you picking? Who are you picking? Who are you picking? All right, good.
Come on, you know I'm not gonna pick against my team.
That's the dumbest question you ever asked, Sonny.
Oh, well, I knew that, but at the same time, I thought maybe he would have a little sanity still left. But
sanity's out the window now.
There you go. You're doing good.
And there's Staley.
Are you drunk yet, or are you on the way?
What's that?
Are you drunk yet, or are you still on the way?
I'm on the way. I'm only on drink number 2. Staley!
Go Bears!
Bear down, baby!
Bear down, baby. Good to see you, my friend. Take care. Enjoy the game. Hasta luego.
Say bye to Sonny.
All right.
Coming out of the tunnel. He should have brought the headset.
Coming out of the tunnel.
You should have wore a headset. Hasta luego.
See you, bud.
Good to see you, bud. Out there on the front. He's out in the front row. It's Bob Euchre would say. He's out in the front row.
Anyway, I did pick the Cowboys to win.
You did.
And that's not because I'm a homer, but I do think they bounce back from that shitty loss they had last week. I think the defense is that pissed. Bland, who is the backup to Trayvon Diggs, he says, I put that on me. I put the game on me. I may not have been the entire problem, but I'm putting it all on me. It's my fault that plays happen the way they did. So
I think Micah Parsons is going to have 4 sacks today.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it.
Minimum. He's going to be in the backfield. So you can't. There's nobody on the offensive line right now for New England that can stop Micah Parsons. And again,
but
that don't mean that they're going to definitely lose. I think this is going to be a very good, challenging fight. It's going to be a good game, and this game's in Dallas, by the way.
Yeah,
and this should be a game that they tear them up. The problem is they won't, and reason being is because that defense for the Patriots is that good. They will get to Dak. Dak's going to get sacked 3 times and throw 2 interceptions. But I think they're going to be able to overcome it because the offense on the other side from Mac Jones is not there.
But I will say this, and this is really important. Dallas knows they cannot go into San Francisco next week 2-2.
And losing to who they are losing, they would lose to.
Yeah, they can't lose this week, knowing they lost last week, because they go into San Francisco the following week. Whatever confidence they had early in the year is gone.
Right,
and the Niners will pick up on that, and then we'll destroy them in San Francisco. So they have to win this. This is a must-win for Dallas if they want to salvage their season. And it's earlier on in the season. I know we talked about how you can be 1-7 going into the halfway point and then come out a playoff team. That's not who this team is. This team has got so many holes on the offense, so many holes in the middle of their defense. Yeah, their defensive line is great. Micah Parsons, best player in the league when it comes to defensive pass rush and everything else. But you have, I know there's TJ Watkins to say the other thing as well. I get that. But you have to win this game. I think they know that. I think that should be the one thing that's in their helmet more than anything else. We have to win. They cannot make mistakes. They cannot make penalty mistakes. They cannot make 13 penalties for 100 something yards, because that's a touchdown you're giving away right there.
Absolutely.
And that's what they did last week. So for them to win, you got to play mistake-free ball. They got to go kill Mac Jones, and then they have to at least make a statement of some type on offense. Who are we as an offensive weapon? As an offensive team, are we a lot of flash, a lot of deep passes to CeeDee Lamb? Are we a grinding team with the running game? What the hell are we doing? Are we a team that can get down there and rely on our field kicker? Hey, this game can very well just be 21-3 and be nothing but field goals.
Fully agree.
As much as I hate that, a win is a win. Obviously, we'll take it.
Yeah, but the Cowboys can't continue doing that through the whole season.
But you've gone through 3 weeks.
See, 1, 2. I think they got there's certain games this week, this year for the Cowboys. Like you said, next week, 49ers, big game for them as far as where they are.
Yeah,
then they got the Eagles. They got the Eagles a little bit later on in the season, and to a certain extent, the Chargers the week after the 49ers. Yeah. So, and then, of course, you got the Eagles again. Buffalo. See, these are all games leading to Buffalo and the Dolphins. The games in between, they should be able to win. But even the Rams game that they got to play against the Rams, that's going to be a tough win for them too.
Yeah.
See, I was looking at the season. I was looking at 6 games that they are going to they're going to have to win. That makes them a 10-16, but then they go drop to Arizona, and that was one that you would have thought that they would be able to win. Mm-hmm. So that means they're going to have to push it out against some of these other games that we're looking at, the 6 teams that I thought they were going to play well against. That means they're going to have to win one more than I thought they would win, and that was 2. So they got to go 3-3 against the 6 really good football teams that they got to play against, and I don't know if they're capable of going 3-3. 2-4, Yes, and they're going to make the playoffs that way if they go 2-4. 3-3, it's going to put them on the freaking bubble. So not only that, you still got to, they figured out how to beat the Giants week 1. They got to figure out how to do it again. And Washington's one of those sneaky teams that if they decide that they were going to get good and you're going to decide to play like dog crap one week, they're going to be able to go out there and get the win there too. So the gimmies that I thought they were going to get all of a sudden are not that because of that Arizona loss, which means that what we see and the Cowboys are so good at it, playing down to the competition, and they're really good at it.
Right. So, like I said, I'm picking Dallas only because I feel it's a game they have to win. I think they will do it. But like I said, they'll win it in a close game, they'll lose it in a blowout.
I don't think the Patriots are a team that can blow any team out. Never mind the freaking Cowboys. However, I think they can beat them by 3 because of the deficiencies of what you were just talking about before you got to your butt. Not your ass, but before your butt.
Shit my ass.
Yes, I keep my ass out of it. But anyway, the Giants game. Giants Monday Night Football, Seattle, and listen, I think the Giants are better than the 1-2 record that they got, and the other side they got a quarterback up for Seattle.
I'm going
I don't
Giants.
trust him.
I'm going Giants. So
wow, I thought I would really be on an island on that game. I really did. I don't trust Geno Smith as far as you can pick him up and throw him.
I know you don't like the running quarterback. I know.
No. Listen, Geno Smith does run the football, and he runs it a lot. But I think that's a trouble thing. Now, when he reads the trouble a little bit early, that's his problem instead of staying in the pocket. Get out of here. Go to work. I'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir. It's been fun.
Good to see you. Thanks for joining us on the.
No. Go finish show. Go ahead. I'm turning the lights out. Party's over.
Oh, okay. Well, the show's almost over. We got 2 minutes.
I'll be like Dan. I'll be like Don Meredith. You go and play us off. I'll just start singing.
Yeah, there you.
Turn out the lights.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for us on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Thanks for everybody that joined us in.
Party's over.
We're just that good.
I'm out.
Something like that. Anyway, but we're out of here, everybody. Have yourself a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.